Things FSU, Pistols and Pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV begins right now. Yay, sausage! I didn't waste time. I got right to it.
Why would you?
Yeah, can't. You got to get straight to it. Wanted to praise Ben and all the sausage.
The sausage empire.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a kingdom.
That voice guy told you there's Corey, there's Ira, you guys that are watching. Hello. If you're watching on Warchant TV, make sure you like and subscribe. Helps others find the show. It also allows us to expand and make tons of money.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't do that.
We put back into the site, back into the show, into the franchise.
Absolutely.
Ben said last week, inspired by last week's show, he's thinking about next year a big Valentine's promo with Yay Sausage.
Oh, like Valentine's sausage?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a funny gift.
That makes sense.
That would actually be really funny to give to your girlfriend or wife, a big old thing of sausage.
But if he does, it'll be at Register Sausage. RegisterMeats.com is the website, and they're available at many grocery stores in the Southeast. And as we've said many a times, if they don't have them in your grocery store, just protest.
I know it's only Tuesday.
Violently,
guys.
I think we're to the point now. It needs to be
violently.
violent.
No, we're still not.
Okay.
We're still.
If we get to May and they're not in your grocery store,
no. Let's do it for football.
Oh yeah, right.
By
You're
August.
right. Yeah. By
Guys,
week zero, the Duquesne game, you need to tailgate with some Register sausage.
Without question.
Take up arms. Take up sausages.
That's only 5 months away.
It's fast approaching, buddy.
I mean, golly, let's buckle in here, guys.
Spring football is like in a week and a half.
It's going to happen. It's probably going to be here. I know it's only Tuesday, and may not be this, your cup of tea right now. I just realized today is National Margarita Day, according to the Twitter here.
It's good to hear.
Well, I love a good margarita, boys.
Oh, don't we all?
Let you know, I love a good margarita. Damn it, I wish I didn't know it on such a lovely day. What are we doing here? We could be out drinking margaritas.
This weather really has been nice. This weather has been nice. I'm excited.
It didn't take much for me to win him
over.
He's
already
like,
in the moment.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's do this thing. I wish we had a home baseball game tonight. Instead, it's on the road against Jacksonville, the bane of our existence. Jacksonville.
I do have a breaking announcement, though. I no longer drink Mick Ultra. I don't drink beer anymore.
No beer?
No beer. I've had a stomach issue. I had a stomach scare. Had to go to the ER about a week and a half ago.
This effing guy.
Had a really bad stomach ache.
You think it's Mick Ultra's fault?
I think it's the carbonation. I think the carbonation is crushing me, and I'm just taking it. I'm taking time off. So
I like how you're like 6 days into this and you're making an announcement that it's
done
forever.
So I'm on the market for new ways to get drunk.
Well, I've got lots of them.
Well, I've done
margaritas. Buddy.
I've done vodka and water.
I just told you, let's drink some margaritas.
No way. I don't think tequila wouldn't do it. I've done vodka and water with a splash of cranberry, and that does me all right. I have 2 or 3 of those, and I feel fine. So that's where I'm at now. Breaking news, Seminole headlines, exclusive. I haven't told anybody. I haven't told any other podcast.
It's the Mick Ultra that did this to you.
Well, whatever, Jeff. It's still.
I also don't know it's breaking news quite yet. Because you're announcing a plan,
but I feel like I'm projecting it forward. I'm manifesting itself.
You also could get high on life, Corey.
Or weed. Like I don't do that either. Life's probably a better idea. We got kids listening, so yeah, I'm gonna start getting high on life.
That ain't happening.
I know that just beats me down. That's why I won't need to get drunk.
Oh my! All right, so do we have to start with basketball? Because I feel like we can turn the lights out. We can go ahead and call it a day here. There's no real reason to ever watch another Florida State game this year.
That might have been worse than the North Carolina game. I think it was worse than the North Carolina.
I'm not real sure I will watch another Florida State game this year.
It was close to the North Carolina game.
I would say at least North Carolina, or at least this game.
Short rest?
Well, yeah, it was short rest, and they all their points came because of the stupid turnovers. North Carolina just scored because Florida State didn't want to guard.
That was happening last night too.
Yeah,
but a lot of it also had to do with they got another 3-on-1 because Raekwon just handed it to a dude, and then they got an open 3 because we all got to scramble back, and there's a guy wide open. But yeah, it was gross.
But even their half court possessions where BC's just driving straight to the basket, like the announcers are like, "Look at this guy, he's not a D2 player." Yeah, because literally there's nobody in the paint. He just drove right to the basket and laid it up.
Couple of things here.
There was one where. God bless Wyatt Wilkes. He's had some great moments of this program.
We've had to say that a lot this year.
I know.
God bless Wyatt Wilkes has led the sentence for many.
But there was that one play where the kid drives down the lane and Wyatt just kind of gets off to this. He played it like I would have. I guess you're going to score because there's nothing I can do.
You look really determined.
I know he kind of maybe didn't want him to kick it out for 3, but instead he gave him
you can't give up a point blank layup.
Yeah. I was having this discussion with Bryce the other day in a game. Kids when they're first really, involved seriously in basketball, they get told you have a job. You have a job. And let's go into a game. You have to guard the other, you're a forward. So I said, there's also something called stop ball.
Right.
And I was trying to explain the concept to him. I was like, it's pretty self-explanatory, but my man's got a layup, but you're so hell-bent on covering your boy over here on the baseline that you're not going to stop
It's
ball.
team defense.
Look, my man, you've got to come over now. And then he goes, well, Dad, he's going to kick to him. I said, yeah, for a 3. Let's see if he makes it. He's in 8th grade. He won't make it.
The problem is these guys are not in middle school.
That's correct.
Yeah, and they seem to make them when they're wide open.
Well,
and
you would assume they would know to not let somebody drive to the basket.
Yeah, to go.
It was
stop
bad,
the ball.
man. It was just terrible. It was terrible in so many ways, and the short rest doesn't define it. I'm at the point now. You got a glimmer of hope with the way they played in the first half against Duke and the Clemson game, but now it's just to get back to this point. It just feels like you really wonder how much of an overhaul he's going to need to make.
I want to point this out. It was the second part of what I was going to say, and listen, guys, the most level-headed, least hyperbolic amongst us is Ira. Like, I make grandiose statements, and I'm pretty over the top on occasion. Nobody's more hyperbolic than this guy.
That's crazy.
Who cornered that market?
Any one game that he sees a great moment, and it's the greatest moment in Florida State.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
I run into it.
Prove you wrong.
Yeah. So there's all of that, right? But it takes a lot. Like, sometimes I have to drag Ira kicking and screaming to make a negative observation about the basketball program, because he respects, rightfully so, what they've accomplished in Leonard Hamilton and this group so much. But to hear him come out the box with going, well,
I'm not going to watch another game this year. Is what he just said.
He said that.
I thought you said that.
I said that, and I'll stick to that.
Okay.
That's not hyperbole.
We have to watch it for
Yeah, you said it might have been worse than North Carolina, which was an all-time bad.
That tells me everything I need to hear. Is that Ira himself is like, washing my hands,
I'm
boys.
sitting there watching, and I'm watching the bench, and I'm like, I'll give them credit. I mean, I'll give the coaches credit for still trying to coach.
Yeah.
Like that game was ridiculous. Boston College sucks
terribly.
I mean, they're terrible.
Oh, and we'll make a kid look like a stud, won't we? And they'll have to prattle on about his prowess in the game. I'm like, really? We just made some other no-name loser.
Yeah.
A name that you had to learn over the course of a game because he's going to hit 9 threes.
But Leonard's over there standing on the sideline trying to get guys to do something, and the assistant coaches are all talking to players, and it's like, man, I don't know how they don't want to fire this entire team. I mean, it's hard, man.
What do you do?
I mean, I really think it's hard. What they went through is obviously difficult, and they lost some key veterans. It's just such a perfect storm where you've got, you lost the guys who know what they're doing the most. You have some talented young guys who don't know what they're doing necessarily, and they need that leadership. But again, you're just back at the point where Corey wrote about the Carolina game, where you just don't feel like they're competing. And it's one thing, and I kind of defend them a little bit in North Carolina, because they are McDonald's All-Americans all over the court for North Carolina.
Yeah.
And if you're beaten down and you're playing those guys, that's tough. I mean, it's a lot to ask somebody to just really compete when you're getting dunked on every 2 seconds by super duper stars. Boston College is not that. Boston College doesn't have that kind of players. They made, BC's got their own version of Chaz McFarland, or what was that guy's name?
Yeah, the guy for Wake. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So BC,
just a big ogre, and they're just, you can't do anything with them. It was ridiculous.
I'll give you a number. BC is averaging under 66 points a game in the ACC. That's 13th. They're converting 41% of their field goals, 29% from 3 on the year. Both last in the ACC in those statistics.
They went up. They went up.
They went up last night.
They average 11 assists per game, which is 14th in the ACC heading into last night's game. But against our Matador defense, we leave 3-point shooters wide open, like it's our job. They shot 48%, including a season high 11 of 26 from 3, knocked down 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Anyhow, the point is, they were all season highs last night for BC. For a group that came into the season, as I look at these ACC stats, virtually last or second to last in every meaningful category.
And
they statistically suck. They also suck when you watch them.
Yeah, they're not very impressive.
And they're coming off of the same short rest you had. They were on the road on Saturday at Syracuse. So it's not like they've had a ton of rest, and it's not like they're playing for an NCAA. Like, to me, all the circumstances, you could kind of excuse things a little bit with the North Carolina game. They're so much more talented. They're hungrier. All of those things are not in place in this game. I mean, BC's beaten down too. They lost 7 of their last 8 games too.
Mm-hmm.
They stink.
They're awful.
There's no crowd. They're not talented.
They showed the same 4 fans like 6 different times.
And you're down,
the only students that were there.
And you're down 20.
Yeah. Well, and we need to preface all this, or I guess it's not a preface now at this point, but like, we understand they're missing 4 starters.
Sure.
But most of the guys that played last night are scholarship players that have now played 25 or so games. It just makes no sense to keep giving up dunks
and
to
just
not
dribble,
know what you're doing.
To dribble the ball to a defender. To just dribble it to him and say, here, you take it and go for a fast break. That must have happened 3 times.
And I don't know. Look, Raekwon won them the only game they're going to win the rest of the season, probably.
They
so
might
that's
be
fine.
BC at home.
They might have BC at home. But Raekwon was awful. Raekwon started the game with the worst turnover you've ever seen. He had 3 turnovers on the first 4 possessions. And immediately you're in an 11-0 hole. Like, what's the point? If he can't play, if he's going to play like that, don't play him. Let Worley play and take his lumps. But the whole game, you felt pretty good after the Duke game because the way they competed and the way they just attacked the rim. They played with confidence. And then you start out the game with your 5th-year senior point guard throwing it to the other team twice in the first 2 possessions.
3 regular season games left at Virginia. Obviously,
loss.
Yes. That's you can say loss. Just apply it.
Right.
They got BC at home, man.
They go Notre Dame next Wednesday, home and on NC State on the 5th.
Yeah, they don't have BC.
Oh, they don't have BC at home?
No, buddy.
Oh, they have NC State at home.
NC State.
Notre Dame is definitely a loss. They're going to hit 19.
So look, if you actually look at this, and we're getting it all out of our system here, guys. So just bear with us. But it is our job, and I do think it's worth vetting because it's very, very disappointing and out of character. Anyhow, at Virginia Saturday, then home against Notre Dame, going to get boat raced, another home loss. That'll suck. Then Wednesday at home against Saturday against NC State, March the 5th. So then you have the ACC tournament in Brooklyn. And if you think about it this way, there's a distinct possibility we'll close out the year with 6 straight losses, 12 losses over our final 13 games. We'll finish sub 500 for the first time since 04-05. That ain't good, man. I don't know what to say about that. Because some of this is directly related. A lot of it is directly related to the injuries.
Yeah, man, the injuries are a huge part of it. No question.
But you can't lose 12 of 13 games.
Well, it's also how you're losing. Like, it's like the Duke loss, nobody had a problem with that, even though they lost by 18 points. They played hard.
And
the North Carolina game and the BC game was gross. I thought the effort was gross. To start off, I thought the effort was gross. I do think they played hard at the end.
It seemed like they thought they were so much better than BC.
Which is crazy.
Which
is nuts.
That'll really aggravate you. And we did say before the year started, look, no Scotty Barnes, no Raekwon Gray, no Balsa, no MJ Walker, etc., Star Calhoun, whatever. But like we talked about all that, and we said it would be an adjustment. But I don't think we thought, you couple that with the injuries, I don't think we thought that we were going to be looking at this. But at some point.
No, man. And again, it's to the point of it's how you look. It's the passes where you just don't even pay attention to the fact that guy's jumping your pass. Yeah. You can't they look like high school passes. That's not a talent issue. No. That's a fundamental issue.
It's like, okay, I'm here at the top of the key. Issue. Wyatt Wilkes is coming around the corner. This is the play. I'm going to hand it off to him. It's like, well, what about using your eyeballs? Wyatt Wilkes isn't open. You're about to give the ball, and he did it to start the game, the very first possession. And it's like, okay, well, that just set the tone for the whole night. Love your Raekwon, but that was disgusting.
Fascinating transformation here in the offseason that they're going to have to go through. I mean, I'm really intrigued to see what he does in the transfer portal. Really, you got to get an experienced big in here, obviously. You got a lot of things you got to do. You got to assess this roster, even amongst the young guys that you were excited about, because there are a couple of guys, I'm looking at Caleb Mills, that you'd have to say, man, I don't know. I mean, I got to see some want to.
No, and they got to assess it all. I mean, really, that's the thing. That's the bottom line is they, aside from the injuries, I think there seems to be some sort of issue inside the program. I mean, they just don't play hard. They don't play desperate. They did in the first half against Duke because I think they thought they were going to get embarrassed.
Yes.
And they tried not to get embarrassed. But in a lot of other games, it's just not there. And last night, I mean, I get it. Short rest. Guys are hurt.
It's really hard, though, when you're only 2 veterans that are out there. And this, again, I'm taking shots at guys I'm not trying to. The only 2 guys that are veterans are out there are Wyatt Wilkes and Raekwon Evans. And they are borderline not ACC caliber players. When they're not playing well, they're not ACC caliber players. They're the only guys out there that know what they're doing, that have been here in the system. Everybody else is Fletcher, Worley, Cleveland, Butler. They don't know what they're doing. They're young and they're playing 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with that.
But you can see a difference between the way Cam Fletcher plays and everybody else.
Exactly. Cam Fletcher, man, I love that dude. I love the way he plays. If he ever learns
to defend,
but he tries to defend. It's just not clicking with him yet. But
he'll learn it.
I don't think it's an effort thing with him. He tries to defend. He's flying all over the court, man. They got it. Yeah, they need more of that.
So I just think if you had that across the board,
and the question is why not?
That's Worley too. I think Worley tried.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
So those 2 guys you feel good about. Cleveland, it seems to ebb and flow. It comes and goes. And my man hadn't hit a mid-range jump shot, I don't know, since December, but he keeps taking them. But he actually got one yesterday, but it was a friendly roll. He bounced it in. But yeah, man, he's, I know that we think he's an NBA player. He's a potential NBA draft pick. Yeah. All right. Good luck, man. he needs, if he refines his shot, he could be a top 10 pick, but it needs a lot of refining because it's off.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
This month has already been a long, cold year, but nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth and Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth and Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth and Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth and Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth and Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth and Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Were you sold a lifetime of dream vacations only to get stuck in a timeshare with a lifetime of rising fees, point scams, and lies?
I was completely taken advantage of.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group, has been fighting and winning battles with timeshare companies for over a decade, canceling over 16,000 timeshares, resulting in $257 million of timeshare debt eliminated.
I believe that it's my job and my duty to help people out of their timeshare if they've been lied to and they've been done wrong.
If it wasn't for Wesley, I would be broke.
Wesley Financial Group has thousands of verified reviews, averaging 4.9 and 5 stars for a reason. They get results.
I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
For your free consultation and information kit, call now. 800-969-5511. 800-969-5511. That's 800-969-5511.
They haven't.
That is the smell of amazing barbecue from Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. There's only one thing that could possibly make Kenny's Amazing Barbecue better, and that's an ice-cold adult beverage. Now you can do just that. Pair an ice-cold beer with all your Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue favorites. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of Havana. Get your fill at the grill.
There was a time when a person's word was enough, a time when a handshake meant something and integrity really mattered. Farm Bureau Insurance continues to live by these principles. That's our pledge, and it hasn't changed since the day we got started. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. From Hurricane Kate to Hurricane Michael, Tallahassee has been through a lot, and we've been right here with you because helping you is what we do best.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Back in the day, when Matt Millar, you guys both know Matt, was my producer, he used to have this irrational fear about Jacksonville University, JU, where one of my brothers went to school.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and he would always talk about, man, I hate that we're playing JU tonight. And at that time, and he's talking about the baseball team, and at that time, I would pull up the stats and I'd go, why? We've won 13 of the last 15 games against Jacksonville. And he'd go, oh, man. And it was because it was all born out of a ninth inning collapse one time in Jacksonville where we gave up a big lead, and it just scarred him. So I read Ira's column today on Warchant.com about obviously the game tonight against Jacksonville. And I don't know, I maybe ignored it or poo-pooed it, but I didn't realize that they've had their way with us lately, man.
It's a small sample, but they've won 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, that's too
Come
many.
on,
Noles.
That's
What's
3
that
too
about?
many. What are we doing?
And
ridiculous.
last year was the game where it was the complete debacle. They gave up 2 runs, I think, in the 9th. To lose to them here. I think they've lost the last 2 to them here.
Millar just turned off his radio.
Yeah.
I remember it well, Jeff.
It'll be good to see how much Carson pitches, because that's, I mean, man, again, if he there were moments last year and he's got as much upside as anybody, and he had some moments last year. We're like, okay, there it is. So it'll be good to see him. I don't know how long they'll let him pitch, but
yeah.
So speaking of upside, I came out of the weekend obviously giddy.
Did you go to any of the games?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I didn't see you there.
I don't go into the press box.
I wasn't in the press box.
Where were you sitting?
I sit in the breezeway by the press box up
up
high.
on that left side.
Yeah.
I went up there very briefly and then walked down the left side of the third baseline, went out the bleachers a little bit.
Jeff's clandestine, man. He snuck up on me on Gordo's the other night.
I did. I'm clandestine. I come and go. I don't need people.
Doesn't announce
you don't
it.
need people. No. I like sit there with my arms spread.
No,
like,
you won't even let people look at you.
Well, that's true. I have security.
Yeah,
but that's
but
fine.
I mean, I get in and I don't stay for the whole games. I'm not going to lie about that.
You're one of those fans.
Well, I'm one of those guys that goes and does stuff with his kids elsewhere. I mean, it's okay. But what I'm saying, and it wasn't a shot. Don't take it as a shot.
Well, I didn't have my kid with me.
I know. I wasn't thinking,
I don't even live with my kid, Jeff. That's how little I care about him.
Was your dad there too?
Yeah.
My dad was not there. Oh, but I'll bring him around when he comes.
Yeah.
He is coming to some games this year.
All
and
right,
I'll find you in the breezeway when that happens.
Thank you.
I'll be like, Dad, go in there. Corey's waiting on you. But that said,
Jeff, I have a shirt. I'm with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corey can't be. That's the back of the shirt. That's the back of the shirt. That'd be awful. No, so anyhow, I want to see our starting rotation. And so I'm just blown away. I mean, I already knew Messick could pitch. We already knew that. The accolades were there, and you saw Hubbard a year. It is electrifying to watch those two guys atop the rotation. And I actually think they're going to be fine 1 through 3 in the rotation. But that group, they've got arms for days. Mm-hmm. And we're just talking stuff. They've got arms for days. And we got to see a lot of those guys on Sunday. Obviously, like 7 of them. But
they all walked someone.
They did. They struggled a little bit to find the zone. I'm not worried, man. I'm looking for stuff.
Was the umpire kind of tight?
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. But what I just
we don't need that in college baseball.
We definitely don't need that in college baseball. But I am more than over the moon for what I think is the potential, and it is just potential. But over the moon for the potential of this team. I think they've got better bat to ball skills. I think they have a ton of depth. I think they can play it any way you want to play it. I think there's enough power there. I think they can run, obviously. You see a healthy Reese Albert. That'll help an awful lot, by the way. What's he got, 6 consecutive hits now or something like that? They just have interchangeable parts. They've got a lot of things. I mean, they're not a perfect team, but they can really pitch. And when I think about weekend series, I think about your frontline guys. You're going to be hard-pressed to find too many teams in this conference or any other that have a 1-2 punch like Florida State will have in a crucial 3-game series. They're going to have 2 guys with really good stuff. Pros think very highly of. And just watching them pitch, they have a whole lot of red ass to them. I mean, they're not I mean, if they pitched against my team, I would hate them.
Especially Hubbard. He's just like, he strikes guys off and shoos them away. Like, next. Quit wasting my time.
Yeah, like he belittles them.
Like Messick is fired up. Like he's walking to his dugout all fired up. You see that all the time. You don't.
It's still showing up, guys.
It's still showing up, guys.
You rarely see the shoo away, get back to your dugout look. That he was like almost like he was he was bothered. He was bothered that he had to pitch to you at all. Yeah. Like this was a waste of all of our time.
Yeah, now that's not something that I would encourage. Right? Yeah. But I will say, I mean, if when that's done to us, it frustrates me that teams play with an edge and we don't do anything about it. We're going to be that team this year, and I do anticipate there will be some dust ups. Not everybody's going to sit back and watch that and just walk back to their dugout.
Games are going to be chippy.
Yeah, which is fine, and I think that's what Meat wants. And I think he's wanted it from the beginning. He didn't have the horses to do it for a variety of reasons. But I think this team will reflect him more than anything we've seen up to this point. And I think you pointed it out, but there was atmosphere at Hauser that was good. Yeah. This is going to be a fun ride. They're good, and the softball team is great. So the Diamond's going to provide some entertainment for us this year.
Yeah,
agreed.
We'll see how they are against better competition. I mean, obviously, they're not going to cruise through all the teams they play against. But I do like the way he seems to like this team. I mean, that's noticeable.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems much happier and at ease, more both in terms of what they've got, the horses they have, but also the way everybody gets along than he has anytime since he's been head coach.
Yeah, he kept talking about the dugout, and he just likes the energy of the dugout and the way they pick people up. They all seem to cheer for each other, which is cool. It'll be interesting to see when you're going to get Martin and Carry On back at some point in the next 2 weeks, the next month or something. And those are probably two top of the lineup hitters. So it moves everybody down. It maybe gets out some. It gets away some.
Creates better depth of lineup.
Yeah, and some maybe dead outs or guys that aren't quite up to a par with these other guys or not in the lineup anymore. But also, I think it makes your infield defense much better. Because we didn't get to see it this weekend. There were so many strikeouts. Who knows if they can field? Like literally, there were the first 2 games. There were 37 strikeouts out of the 54 outs, and there were 10 or 11. They had 4 ground ball outs the first 2 games. You couldn't tell anything.
They're going to strike a lot of people out, though. That
yes,
will
they
be
are.
Consistent.
It's a good problem to have.
It won't be an over-the-top number like we saw this weekend, but they're going to strike a lot of people out because they've got 2 guys atop the rotation that throw 3 pitches for strikes anytime they want.
Well, and they got guys in the bullpen that are good and young. The Baumeister kid, how do we say his name?
Bowmister.
Bowmister? Oh, Bowmister.
According to the pronunciation.
Oh, that's a weird one. Yeah. Bowmister? That can't be right.
That's what it says. It doesn't.
It should be Meister at least.
Agreed.
Yeah, but Bowmister, he came in, was pumping 96 and 97 as a freshman. He might end up being the closer at the end of the year. He's certainly going to be a big arm for them.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Our local news now.
2 men were arrested in connection to an incident Sunday just after 7 p.m. Sheriff's deputies responded to a call on the 1800 block of Wax Myrtle Court. Deputies were informed a shooting had occurred. 1 person was found with life-threatening injuries. Despite efforts to save the victim, the injured man died at the scene. 47-year-old Charles Malfers, who entered the victim's home and had a physical altercation that led to the shooting, and James McIntyre, a 32-year-old man, entered the home during the altercation, found the firearm, and took it to his vehicle. Both men were arrested. Malfers is charged with second-degree murder. McIntyre is charged with tampering with evidence. There's been a sharp decrease in Florida COVID cases. Florida cases decreased nearly 60% last week. Leon County's cases dropped nearly 70%. A new testing site is set to open in Tallahassee this Wednesday at the Philadelphia Primitive Baptist Church. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Clear skies this afternoon with highs around 78. Winds out of the south, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight, lows around 57. Highs level off around 82 tomorrow. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Thursday with daytime highs approaching 84. 82 Friday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 77.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Of 97 patients, 33 are vaccinated, and 63% are considered incidental.
See, this is what I'm upset about. He's basically made up the percentages to look like it's at 100%, but the two are not related to each other.
What's 37% of 97?
It's 35.89.
So why in the hell can't he literally ask iPhone include that in his articles?
Maybe he's got an Android.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Corey, I didn't realize you were tasked with the responsibility of writing the post-game wrap up there for the Florida State basketball game.
Yeah, I did the game thread too, and I was on the I got to ask Leonard some questions.
Oh, did you?
Well, he did say it was funny when he sat down. He's like, any of you guys got eligibility left? When he sat down at the Zoom.
Wow.
And then he's like, what about you, Corey? You're a weekend warrior, aren't you? And I said, what did I say? I said, I could make a free throw for you, but nobody would foul me. And then we started the press conference. So at least he's keeping a sense of humor.
They just take the ball from you like you're Raekwon Evans.
You're going to walk over there and just take that. Thank you very much.
They take an elbow to the chops.
How about that, like game to game? Because he missed the Duke game.
Yeah.
So you go from a career high 28 points. You basically single-handedly win the Clemson game. And then a week later, you play maybe the worst game
Clemson's got
you or
like,
anybody's
man,
ever played.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Look at this Florida State team.
Yeah, it's
against
crazy.
everybody but us.
It's crazy. Oh, Raekwon's going to go for 28, huh? Did you see what he did to Boston College? He had 3 points, 5 turnovers, and nothing else.
That is the
no
ultimate
assists, no
suck at
steals.
Clemson right there.
Did you talk about Juwan Howard, that whole thing on your show?
I mentioned it briefly. I knew it would be a big to do because everything's a big to do because of video these days.
What would happen? I posited this on Wake Up Warchant. What do you think would happen if not Juwan Howard because he respects Leonard, but another coach reached across players and slapped Leonard in the head during a handshake line?
Well, Leonard wouldn't have grabbed him earlier
I got
and
that.
forced the entire situation.
That.
That's my whole thing. Is we'll address that first.
But I'm just genuinely curious, like thinking about it. Like
Leonard is so image conscious, and I mean that in the best possible way. He is so
But do you think
conscious.
Leonard's players would have come over and just started beating the bejesus out of somebody?
He wouldn't have gotten into that situation,
right?
Because he would never.
Well, it was a hypothetical. I know he's been doing it for 40 years. He's never had anything like that.
If somebody ran over to him and slapped him, because he would never have gotten into that thing at the half court.
That'd be something.
Because remember when I brought it up when they played UConn when Danny Hurley was the coach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Danny Hurley's a maniac.
Yeah.
And him and Kofor started yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Like I think Danny Hurley told Kofor to shut up, which is fine because Kofor was like, just look at the scoreboard. And then, but if that had escalated and Danny Hurley got in Kofor's face and then Leonard came over and he reached around Kofor and smacked Leonard in the face,
that'd have been the death of Danny Hurley.
Does Kofor do it? Does Leonard do it? Like it would have been just as fun to think about. That's all, because Leonard is but he's a very nice person.
That team had some what for to it, and those guys were not.
Well, I just think, his players would have beaten the bejesus out of somebody that touched Leonard.
Look, at the end of the day, I wanted to ask you this because I know we're going to get into the sequence of events, and we can point out that they're both wrong.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they're both wrong. But here's what I would say. So I thought it was interesting because I was actually I did see that, and I remember thinking, well, look, Juwan, you're pressing with whatever seconds to go in the game.
Fine.
So you're pressing walk-ons.
Fine.
Now
with 15 seconds left, when you're down by 15 points.
Right.
So there's no way in freaking hell you're going to lose that game, Wisconsin.
No, you're not going to lose the game.
If you're worried
but
about,
if you're pressing,
why are you worried about a timeout then?
That's fine. I'm not saying that Juwan Howard was right to be mad about the timeout.
Yeah. That's what
they
I'm
both
saying.
can be mad at each other.
Yeah. Right.
My point is, you don't have the right to grab another coach and tell them
you're
to stop.
You're skipping steps here. I agree with you. You're skipping steps. What I'm saying is if Juwan Howard is thinking about this reasonably, and I'll get to the other coach in a second too, they're both right and both wrong.
They're both wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point is
calling the timeout is ridiculous too.
Right.
And it's because he's like, I'm not going. In their press conferences, they're both so full of it.
They're both completely wrong.
Full of it.
They're both so wrong. But when you're watching it, because I do this all the time when I'm just casually watching games, I'm like, oh, you're still pressing with 1 minute to play, and I got my backups in. We're up 32. Okay, shoot a three. Because I'm not going to let you just press my walk-ons. You're not going to let me dribble out the clock. Okay.
That is 100.
And then we are going to play
with
it to the hilt. Then
I'm 100% with you.
So at that point, I would have. I don't have a problem calling a timeout.
I don't have a problem
calling a message.
I don't have a problem calling timeout, but the way he justified it was
Correct,
BS.
correct.
He's like, well, my guys had just gotten out there, and I needed to set them up to break the press.
To get it across
Dude,
the
it wasn't
timeline.
about the result of the game at that point.
Yeah, he was mad.
Yeah,
he was mad.
Which just say you're mad.
Just say you're mad. Exactly. That's what they all should stop doing. Is mealy mouth in it. I would have said after the game, I was pissed
because Juwan Howard,
he's down 15.
Juwan Howard said the swing basically in his press conference was he was feared for his safety
No.
after. And it's like, no, man,
I got to protect myself.
And if what he had done from the beginning is said, look, man, that guy grabbed me and it pissed me off.
And I was trying to move forward.
And it made me mad.
Right.
And so we got into it. Then I see one of their assistant coaches come up out of nowhere and push one of my players because that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what the guy he swung at.
Yeah.
If he had said, you're not going to put your hand on my player.
And don't put your hands on me.
And that, I'm not saying that would have been right. It wasn't right to swing, but at least that would explain
the
it.
Wisconsin guys got to let him walk.
And
that's the whole thing. I get back to this. So if I decide to call timeout because you're pressing my walk-ons, I know you're pissed.
Right.
I know you're pissed. I did it to piss you off. Now,
And I won by 15.
right,
Just
I've already
laugh
won
at
the
'em.
game. That's correct. So I know as we go through the handshake line, you don't want anything to do with me.
Yeah.
I'm sure as hell not going to grab your shoulder. We're going to walk by. I may not even say anything to you. I just nod the head and we're going to keep it walking.
And when Juwan says, I'm going to remember that, you're like, good, man.
Good.
Remember the
Yeah,
score,
remember
too.
this ass beating. Take that on with you, too, man. Yeah, remember this one, too. Yeah, I would bring it up. I'd
Not
be
a big fan of timeouts, are you, Juwan?
Yeah,
Huh? Late game timeouts?
I'll call
Remember
another
this?
one the next time I'm up
Been
15.
30 years.
But what good comes out of grabbing him to talk to
That's
him?
never a good idea. Never a good idea.
And people are like, oh, that's not a big deal. Bull crap.
No, you
don't,
can't
that's
grab.
what-
You can't
and
grab
that's
him,
bothers me
especially
about
when
the
he's
whole
trying
thing.
to walk. Now, if Juwan had squared off and
Yeah.
not let him gone by, then you're kind of like, man, move out of my way. I can see how things get
Sure.
ugly.
So that's the frustrating thing to me in this whole thing. And again, man, I'm not excusing Juwan Howard
Well,
at
it's the
all.
second
It's
time that it's
ridiculous.
happened for him.
No,
That's
yeah,
right.
he's got an issue. He's got to
He's
control
gotta
himself.
Learn
100%.
to breathe, baby. Learn to breathe.
I'm with you. It's not like I'm a fan of Juwan Howard. My point is, Wisconsin started it by grabbing the guy. All right. They had a part in the initial pettiness with the calling timeout and the pressing. So you can't take a one without the other. They were both petty there. Then walking by, Juwan Howard mouths off, which is petty. But then the guy grabs him. So but now Wisconsin's played a role in it.
Yeah.
They've grabbed him.
Right.
That's what leads to everything else. Then before Juwan Howard swings, the Wisconsin assistant coach
Which
runs
is
up
nuts.
in there
Which
and
nuts.
is
He's
being
got
a
to be suspended for a long time.
that's and so nothing happens to anybody for Wisconsin for anything. A $10,000 fine that the school's
Yeah.
like, we're not even going to let the coach pay it
Right.
because we're going to pay it. Meanwhile, Michigan, their coach gets suspended the rest of the season. I'm not saying he shouldn't be. He should be,
Yeah.
but nothing happens to Wisconsin when they did a bunch of stuff that led up to it. That's
Yeah.
frustrating to me.
I thought they both looked silly.
Yeah.
It to me, they looked like less than grown-ups.
Well,
I mean,
again,
it's
though,
just
you
dumb.
can't fire off punches and slaps. You just can't. And he learned his lesson. We hope that he won't do that again. If a player did it, he'd be, no matter what precipitates it,
No, it's
you're going to be
ridiculous.
suspended.
I
For,
think
But what if when Greg Gard grabs him,
Mhm.
what if he punches him right there? And I'm not, that would have been awful. It would
That
have been
would've been
wrong.
awful, yeah.
But
Same
my
thing.
point is, but it would magnify what Gard did, I think, because that led to the
No, I think
confrontation.
the-
People,
well,
right? Because when
people
people are
know it.
defending this is like, well, that happened
but
20
you act
seconds
like,
after.
I mean, it's split down the middle, man. Like
No,
I saw a
man.
lot of people on Twitter. Initially, they were like, Juwan Howard should be fired. And then the Rex
I
Chapman
I
crowd,
wouldn't fire Juwan Howard.
the
for
Rex Chapman, Desmond Howard crowd
that's a
comes
small
around.
group.
Well, they have a lot of people that agree with him on Twitter, which is why I don't need to follow this stuff on Twitter. And they're like, look, man, if a grown man touches me, I got to do what I got to do. He shouldn't be suspended at all. There's those sides
That's
of the
nuts.
campus. Like, why can't we just say they both handled it
Well,
poorly?
that's what we are saying.
Yeah,
here.
100%.
The rational folks at Seminole Headlines are like, you're both idiots.
But the problem is now, with the way it was adjudicated, it makes it look like Michigan was in the wrong and Juwan Howard's only in the wrong, and Wisconsin didn't do anything really wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, they
I-
got one of their guys got suspended. One of their
One of the players,
players. Yeah.
I think
And then one coach that gets in the middle of it that leads to the punch, not even a punch, an open hand slap, and another assistant
Well, that's
staff
even
guy.
worse. Don't
by the way-
dismiss it. Like,
by the
that's
way-
only an open-handed
Oh,
slap.
it's
oh, I'm with you. I'm with you.
That's worse than a punch.
But
more
I'm just trying to
emasculating.
be accurate.
It should
with
have been
our-
a backhanded
And
slap.
then-
that
I was-
actually made me laugh the hardest. It was an open hand slap. Oh man!
And then a Wisconsin staff member tweets a picture of himself afterwards, like grinning about it. And it's like, Ben,
Yeah,
there's
don't
no
do that.
retribution for anything
Hey, man.
Wisconsin did.
Hey, man, it's those Big Ten rivalries are tough.
well, I think if you're a Michigan fan, you're actually more frustrated than anything else because your coach is now suspended for 5 games. But why are we on the bubble if I'm Michigan? That team's loaded.
They started
what are you
the team.
doing,
They started
Juwan?
the year top 10 in the country. It's just been a really, it was just the culmination of everything. Like that was a big game for them.
Yeah,
they
they
played
got
awful in the
stomped.
second half, and they've had a bad year after Elite
And
Eight
they really
season
had
last
no
year.
excuse to have a bad year.
No,
That's a good
they
team.
had like the number 5 player in the country come in too with the Dickinson kid, and they've just been bad. And I think it was just a culmination of all that. Speaking of like unwritten rules and stuff, this is a great Bowden story. They played Tulane like in 88 or 87, and they were up by 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Tulane scores. This is in the Superdome. Tulane scores, then onside kicks. Florida State recovers it.
And they're down 21.
And so Florida State, with like 4 minutes to go.
Tulane.
So Florida State throws a bomb and scores a touchdown. And people were yelling at Bowden. And I
Mhm.
only know
I
this
remember
because
this.
I was listening to the Florida State broadcast, the radio broadcast. And Bowden was like, look, if you onside kick it, I guess we're playing. We're playing for real
Yeah,
now.
we're playing. Well, that's the principle of what we were just talking about.
So it's
if
like,
you're going to
man, if
press.
but that's just funny that even Bowden has a little,
Yeah.
the great gentleman Bowden had a little, all right, man, whatever. Okay, you want to play like that? We'll play like that. Mickey would put in his starters with up
The
55
goal line
points.
stand against Kansas.
So yeah, all these coaches have a lot of ego and they get rubbed the wrong way. And
It's
can
funny.
be-
There are people complain about unwritten rules, but amongst competitors in any sport, there are a ton of unwritten rules. In every game, baseball has the most and probably the most ludicrous ones.
Yes.
But I would say that all of us understand it. Just like we all kind of smirked when we said that it was an open hand. We were all as men like, oh, really? You're going to open it? Okay.
And then, you know, and somebody came at me on Twitter and was like, well, if Juwan Howard did that in the street, he'd be arrested. Okay. Let Greg Gard grab somebody in the street like that and see what happens.
Greg Gard grabbed Juwan Howard in the street.
That's my point.
Greg Gard would end up in a dumpster.
The only reason he did it is because he feels like he's
not in a dumpster
reproach.
Dead. I'm not saying Juwan would kill him. I'm saying he'd pick him up and throw him in a dumpster. I didn't want to imply that Juwan Howard is a murderer.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think it would have happened in the street. I don't think he would have grabbed him in the
street.
And
that fan wouldn't have talked to Marcus Smart if they were in the street. I mean, that's how life works.
Legarrette Blount.
Which is my favorite one.
No, that's the all-time. That's the all-time Boise State guy. I mean,
I could watch it on slow motion.
I haven't watched that
exactly
years.
what he deserved.
I need to watch that. I'm going to watch that on a loop today.
Well, that's a clean shot.
Oh, it's great.
It's great. It's just like, woo, get your hands up, sir. If you're going to taunt, get your hands up.
And that was a football player. That was another football player in a handshake line. Yeah, that was great.
It was fun to watch. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making it refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
This is Susan Gage with good news for homeowners. If you bought a home in Leon County last year, you may qualify for homestead exemption, but you need to file by March 1st. Leon County property appraiser Akin Akanyemi says there are many ways to file.
File online, by mail, at our office.
Remember, the deadline is March 1st. Visit leonpa.org or call 850-606-6200.
You can save hundreds of dollars on your property taxes.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten and smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
I think to put a ribbon on that thing is that what we were talking about is important because of perception. But what we just did, and we get things wrong all the time. I get things wrong all the time. I know that.
Yeah.
But one of the things to point out, it's all right for all of these sort of assessments to have, like, 4 things can be true simultaneously. Right. And it doesn't have to be all of this or all of that. And that drives me nuts. That's the thing about social media. It's also the thing about like shows on ESPN or Fox or wherever, that they love this. They love this because it fuels the whole daytime television cycle where you get to start a show, you have nothing to talk about. Let's argue about.
Let's take sides.
Let's take a side. Everybody scream at each other and turn this into something that it isn't. I mean, I do think there's a lot of nuance to this, and we could go down each path. But the easiest thing to do is to say, well, that guy was wrong, and that guy was wrong, and this is bad, and this is bad. And oh, by the way, there's some other indicators here that this is a problem long term for this and this and this. You can have that. You can vet all of it without it being all of this or all of that. And that drives me nuts. Everything has to be, it's tribalism, it's silly. But, I mean, I just watching it, I was kind of laughing because I was thinking to myself, man, if Juwan wants to hit him. I was mad that he didn't get a good shot in.
Yeah.
Which is
the
probably
players
not
got in the way.
Yeah.
The players trying to back up their coach got in the way.
How about the one guy, the Wisconsin player that tweeted the thing about I'll go to war with my guys or whatever?
And it was him running in
and it was
doing
him
nothing.
and literally doing nothing.
Getting pushed around and hands back here.
Oh, man. All right. So
we did last night, though. I thought we were going to get a reprise of it. They cut to break as Worley's getting into it with the big goofy guy for
how about
BC.
the Florida State walk-on that just sprints out in the mid-court in his gray sweatshirt like he's Hargraves at the Super Bowl.
He ran from like 50 yards away.
He was 50, 60 feet away. Hey, look, it's good they have each other's back, right? I mean, he did knock Butler down right in the ribs, and Worley. That's what I'm saying. I think Worley's got a little something to him. He took offense to that.
The only thing that the end of this year has provided us is a glimpse of why Worley was recruited and thought
because
so highly
I was struggling
because
I was struggling with
year.
it in January.
You and me
I was
both,
like, what
buddy.
is this?
Well, I was struggling with it much of February until very recently.
The Duke game and then
Yes.
this game, even though he didn't shoot well, he's like 1 out of 5, but he had 6 assists again. He had 3 steals.
Well, there's what for there. There's
Yeah.
a little want to. Like he
looks like an athlete too. Like he belonged on the floor with those Duke guys.
I
Like
will
he
say
belonged
this-
athletically with those guys.
This reminds me of something that Leonard has brought up on the show a lot. He's told you guys, I'm sure. I know he's told me on the air. And he's right about this. When a kid is highly recruited, especially because there are a lot of kids these days. I mean, we just had several of them come to Florida State. If you're a freshman and you're well thought of and you're a 4 or 5 star kid, we expect you to step right into college basketball, contribute, and even be very good right off the bat because they're kids that do it, right? I mean, we've seen it happen. And so if you're one of those kids that it's going to take a little longer, maybe you're not as physically dominant. Scotty Barnes looked like a pro when he was here last year in terms of the physical tools. He didn't always play like it, but he looked like a guy that could dominate you. Worley's not that guy. He's not that guy, right? So if you struggle to figure it out on the defensive end and you're not a physical menace, as in you've got the gift of being preternaturally strong or fast, if your potential is 2 and 3 years down the road, we almost give up on you.
Well, I liked Trent as a freshman, but he didn't do a whole lot.
Do a whole lot.
No.
Yeah, he had a few nice moments, but he was like a 4-minute, 8-minute guy.
He was
here
part of
or
that
there.
boom squad.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Leonard will always point out, like, in the modern era, partly because of how much exposure they get, media coverage, etc., that it's unfair a lot of times. You guys, he'll say, expect a kid to come in and be refined. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I think he does a good job of recognizing when a kid needs a little bit more time and brings them along slowly. Whereas other kids, he can look at and be like, okay, Patrick Williams, you've got a good handle on this, buddy. You go ahead on.
Well, but even him, I mean, they took him along slowly that first year. But, I think that I think is what's made this a perfect storm, is because he would like to take it slower with some of these guys, and they can't. They're having to
Worley's
start them.
playing 30-something minutes a night. Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, you do excuse it. Certainly the results.
But not the effort, not the lack of
not the effort.
Just the
and
ridiculous turnovers.
Yeah,
just don't even care for the ball. Don't even matter to you. Act like it's a newborn baby, Ira.
Oh,
it's a newborn baby that you don't want this dingo to get. You don't want a dingo to get your baby. So you're going to protect it at all costs.
What year, since you always accuse him, what year did that movie come out?
I don't even.
So Meryl Streep is in it.
Is it Out of Africa? Is it that movie?
No, it's not Out of Africa. No, that's a sweeping epic, not the baby.
I'm going to
getting eaten by a
say
dingo.
82. 82.
No, I think it's later than that.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Oh, you want me to type in the dingo ate my baby? Because there are a lot of 20-somethings right now going, what the hell is he talking about?
There was like a couple 49-year-olds that were like, Clark did it again.
Normally this is the Ira part.
Yeah, I know. He's doing the dingo ate my baby.
Oh, there's a bunch of gifs of I cry in the dark.
There it is. What did I say? That's what I said.
No, you said Out of Africa,
right.
not a cry in the dark. And by the way, I will give you credit. No. Okay, so the original death occurred in 80. So the mother.
Yeah. So the movie was like 82. I'm thinking.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
You might be right on that.
Yeah,
That'd be the only aspect of this that you got right.
Same year as E.T.
Leonard will have you over for film today.
Yeah,
And you
we
could
could
kind
watch a Cry in the Dark together.
I never saw a Cry in the Dark.
I didn't either.
It didn't interest me. But I always
I don't like
wondered,
dingoes or babies.
Well, also I always wondered, was she telling the truth?
Well, that's the whole thing.
Isn't that
yeah.
the crux of the movie,
Yeah,
right? Was
yeah.
there proof? Oh, you were way off. I won all 3 categories here today, folks.
What was it?
88. Actually,
88.
89.
That
Yeah,
can't be
yeah.
right. That's your
I'm
your internet is wrong. I don't believe you. Your internet is wrong.
You know how he likes to go back? We don't have to go back. I'm doing it live
So
on
that was
the air.
that was
right
a
here.
fresher reference than I thought.
So
That was
35 years.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot less.
So yeah, Cry in the Dark came out in 88 on into 89.
Okay.
And yes, but there you go. That's,
Can we continue the discussion though on the handshake line? Everyone wants to talk about the handshake line.
Yeah, how about that? Like there's
Why would
one
we
flare
not?
up, and all of a sudden we're not going to have handshake lines
just
anymore.
You gotta have a handshake.
What is-
Yes.
Why wouldn't you?
Of
It's
course
just
you would.
Stupid.
Who's trying to get rid of the handshake line?
Why do we have a
Dan
handshake line
Walken,
anyway? Yeah,
a bunch of people.
this is
Dan
ridiculous.
Walken? Well, then I know we
I
have
know.
to keep the
Hey.
handshake line.
It makes you feel comfortable. Anytime you know you're on the other side, you feel good.
Tom
about it.
Izzo had a great rant
Yeah,
about
he
us
did.
yesterday.
he's
He's like,
great.
that, what are we teaching these kids? Like, if it's hard at a school early, they transfer. If they have to go to class here, they transfer to a place they don't. If something happens in a handshake line, all of a sudden, let's get rid of handshakes.
Right.
It's like, man, grow up and have some accountability and responsibility. And you could tell he was really mad at the two coaches staffs that had it
and
together.
he said, look, man, if you get your butt kicked, you walk over and you shake their hand. And man, we've been doing that. Kids have been doing it. Kids do that.
Yeah.
We make 8-year-olds
9-year-olds
do that.
it. They go and say good game when they don't like
Sometimes
each other.
they spit in their hands, but
Right,
you know, it's
that's
going to
fine.
happen.
Yeah.
That's why I always did that.
Did a little
I got
fist
just a
bump.
little fist
Yeah.
bump right there. I'm
Not
not
getting-
all into that
not
shaking
getting
of
the
the
saliva
hand.
hand.
No, we're not doing all that. You've seen the video of the kid getting the shot to the boys. Have you seen that?
No, in a handshake line.
In a handshake line. That was recent.
We've had coaching kids. I mean, I've seen a bunch of different things. I mean, you'll have, I mean, even girls basketball, you'd have like the winning team, like
Yeah,
talk
gut
trash.
punches in girls
the
basketball?
No, but like, you guys suck. Stuff like that is during the handshake line. And,
That's the best.
but hey, man,
Sorry, ass.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving.
you guys are awful.
You're your team's worst player.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for that win.
Man. Yeah, yeah.
But we don't stop the handshake line.
No,
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
stop the handshake line.
So I was trying to think of a coach grabbing another coach, and there
Oh.
was an incident last year it didn't become an incident, but Mac Brown and Manny in
Oh,
Miami,
man.
remember
He was
kinda-
holding on to him.
Manny was trying to give him the breeze by, and
Yeah.
Mac held him. Now
That's
they have
an
a-
old man
they
thing.
It is, and they
Yeah.
also have a prior relationship
That's
because they
still-
work together.
Yeah,
But
but
like,
that's an old man
what if
thing.
Manny was like, "Get the f off me"?
Way easy.
What happens
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Manny
Um,
becomes a huge villain
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
because everybody loves Mac Brown and he's old.
It's not quite Pedro Martinez slinging your boy.
Screw Don Zimmer.
I'm just
what was
saying.
he thinking?
Well, Don Zimmer's going to run his weeble wobble ass out there and get thrown.
he
but-
didn't
but-
get punched. He just
No.
got thrown
Yeah,
down.
no,
with the
and
momentum.
I laughed at it when it
Yeah.
happened, but I didn't feel bad for him at all.
Yeah,
So
what
are you
was
doing?
he even going to do?
But I'm
What was
saying
he
it's
doing?
it's a little akin to that.
Yeah.
It's a little because if you start beating up Mac Brown, who looks
But-
105,
No, Manny
But
Diaz
also-
would never.
Yeah.
But
fly
who
up.
is Mac Brown to just grab my man?
An
and make
old
it-
man?
I'm going to talk to you.
Dude, think about an old
But
man.
again,
And he still thinks of him as his employee, like he employed
that's
him.
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
right. Yeah,
Like,
it's
you used to work for me.
dismissive. You're like,
Yeah.
"Get your hands off me." Yeah. No. It'd be tough. I could have at least seen that.
Would Jimbo stand there for that?
No.
So so now again, that's my point. Now the person who's getting,
Jimbo's got
But I
his
don't think
nephew.
Jimbo would've
Jimbo's
got
got his nephew
lectured.
to do his damage
That's
for
true.
him. To
But-
dance around.
but now you're putting that Jimbo would be in the position of having to shove Mac Brown, and it's the
Which would
same
be
thing as
awesome.
this.
I
Like I'm
would be
saying, the
like,
person that
yes.
starts it can't be like, oh, I didn't do anything. What do you started
Yeah.
it? You should Mac Brown shouldn't have grabbed
It's
Manny
tough.
Diaz.
You know
like
what
that.
I always wondered, because Bobby Knight used to try to intimidate everybody. Now Bob Knight's a big man and all that.
Bully.
Was a bully. But what I always wondered, because he did do a lot of that, pull coach in close and
Yeah.
say something to him after games that he didn't like, because he thought he was the czar of the sport. And there were times he did that to younger coaches who deflected and kept moving. And I remember thinking, don't do that. Don't do that. Push Bob Knight's old ass.
Yeah.
He may be big, but he's old as hell.
Yeah.
But they never did.
Yeah, it would have been interesting, like if Cutcliffe with his dead fish
Which
handshake.
is
Right.
the best.
Like what if
Like
like
Jimbo had grabbed him and said, no, you're going to talk
Shake
to
my
me.
hand.
or
Or
if
shake my
Cutcliffe
hand
had
like a
grabbed
man.
him. If Cutcliffe had grabbed him. I think Jimbo's always been enough conscious of the way people perceive him. Maybe
Well,
that I don't think
I don't
he
know about all
flares
that.
up and throws a punch.
I mean, he was challenging a guy in the crowd to come down and fight him.
That was a different
That's a good point. That was a
circumstance.
different Jimbo.
Or a
That was
different
a
point in
less
time.
happy
You're
Jimbo.
trying to make a point about
Yeah.
image. I'm not so
I'm
sure.
saying when he beat Cutcliffe in 13, if Cutcliffe with that Jimbo, I don't think.
By the way, that
falls
was
off
But I
of
always the
also
most
think,
absurd thing.
but the smile on Jimbo's face was exactly what Greg Gard should have had, and with
Yeah.
Juwan
Yeah, I would have
Howard.
been laughing.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
smirk
mad.
at him. Oh, you're mad.
Oh, you're mad.
Yeah. Oh,
He should have clapped in his
That's
face.
even
like,
worse.
Jimbo's
Ramsey.
smile after
Yeah.
the handshake is the best part of that.
Your boy from Idaho, when he shook Jimbo's hand after we dropped 80 on Idaho. That's hilarious. The best is Jimbo's face. He looks at the camera and kind of goes, that guy was furious.
He's mad.
He was very mad. Very, very mad. Well, 80 is a lot of points.
Yeah, 80 is a lot of points.
80 is a lot
Especially
of points.
the week before Florida. You could have called it off a little.
80 is a lot. Hour number 2, forthcoming headliner questions. Hang in. We'll be right back. Because they haven't been exciting. Baseball, let's just say it, Florida State baseball hasn't been exciting in a long time. They haven't. And I missed it. I expressed this concern years ago. I'm like, man, in addition to the fact that the average age at Hauser has turned into somewhere in the neighborhood of 78 to 84 years old.
And frankly, you need to replenish some of those fans because it's been that way for a while.
Yes. So in addition to that, our style of play hadn't really drawn me to the game. We felt stale. We just felt stale. That's a better way of saying it, because we weren't always bad, by the way. I mean, the irony is that during this stretch where we weren't consistently as good as our standard, we actually had some huge wins, and you and I were at perhaps the most exciting series road victory in the last 30 years for Florida State, winning that super regional at LSU, which was insane. That was one of the great moments.
It was stunning because we went up to Athens the week before and handled business there.
Beat that ass.
Yeah. But we had to go to Athens for a regional. That says it all about where we were that year.
We weren't a good team. We were a team that was a game above 500 through 30-plus games. It was bizarre. But they had enough talent and enough and enough fight to accomplish something that year. And so I did give them credit for that after being critical of how things had gotten stale here. But they're not stale now, man. Those guys can really play. And I don't want to get too far out over my skis here in praising them for a weekend series against an average program. It was less about what JMU was, less about the scores of the game, and more about the way they played and the electrifying stuff they have on the mound. I got a buddy, mutual friend of ours, diehard all things FSU, but just doesn't like college baseball. He's just not a college baseball guy. And I was texting him over the weekend. He actually went to a game, and I said, and he goes, listen, that's pro stuff out there on the hill. I'm like, yes, I've been trying to tell you this in our offseason that there are arms currently that project first 3 rounds for Florida State and even higher.
Baseball has been around, but it's been dormant for the last few years. But it seems like it's coming back. So
waking it up, baby.
Just as well, yes, I think you might have some friends call you to say, hey, can we go to the baseball game if I come up this weekend or I come down from wherever that I live? We're starting to get to that place again. Just as a person in this town, I want to have more things to do, exciting things to do.
And reasons to do them.
Right.
Yeah, beyond, you could have gone last year, but...
right, exactly.
You
try to get the wife out of the house or whoever and say, hey, do you want to go to the ballpark? You're like, maybe next week. You know what? Let's do that next week. And then next week never comes. Well, it's going to be a hot ticket again. Good.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines. Headliner questions forthcoming. Thanks for tuning in. And Birch Orthodontics. Wrap our arms around Dr. Birch and her amazing staff and the great work that they do. Birch Orthodontics sponsoring this hour. And soon I'll have both boys in braces. Well, one is just about to be out, but the other one's about to start.
That's the way to do it, man. We had 2 at a time, which, it gets a little difficult because you got all the appointments and it costs a couple dollars. But again, they do make it so affordable because of the payment plans. And BirchOrthodontics.com, every family, I like to say that every family's been touched by orthodontic needs, Corey. You've heard me say that for years.
Yeah,
right?
first time I met you. It was a weird thing. It was a weird greeting. But
it may not.
Said it.
A lot of people pointed it out in cancer, but you were always
he's more orthodontic,
or drug use. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
It may not be you, but
right.
you're gonna be touched.
You're gonna
by
know somebody that had orthodontic work in your life. Yeah,
and they should definitely go to Birch Orthodontics, located here in Tallahassee. But you could come from far and wide. People should come from far and wide for Birch Orthodontics and the work they do. The
you
website.
might see Jeff Cameron in there with one of his kids.
Could be.
They handle difficult cases, easy cases, get you in and out, payment plans, great free consultations. You should definitely check them out.
Matthew writes, let's start with the questions here. Hello, gentlemen. First off, I want to thank you guys for providing such good content every week, not just blowing smoke. I genuinely find that the 3 of you consistently put out the most entertaining and thoughtful sports talk out there today.
Who is this again?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Amen,
really
Matthew.
Kicking ass.
Not producer
I was
Matthew.
Say,
Matthew, did you write this?
Thanks, Matthew.
Well done.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah. He writes, it's also helpful that you guys are Noles. Many weeks, it's a well-needed distraction, which I greatly appreciate. With that being said, I'm interested to know your all's favorite sports writers and or talk podcasters, you name it, out there. He says he's dabbled with Rich Eisen and a few others, but he wants to know. He does say at the end that everybody he's listened to comes up short compared to us.
Agreed.
I think that's true. I listen to a lot of podcasts,
I do
and at
too.
the end of every one of them, I go, it's no Seminole Headlines.
That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Still haven't found it.
They're trying. That's pretty decent, but it's no Seminole Headlines. Well, I think we all like some of the similar ones. I know that.
For different reasons. Like
I
got into Bill Simmons for a while because of the guests.
Yeah,
he
a lot of good guests.
Really good guests. And
well, his NBA experts are awesome.
Right.
Big Cousin Sal guy.
And that's when I would turn it off.
Yeah.
But I listen to like some journalism podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to the sports media podcast, even though I don't necessarily love. I don't love
stand him.
Richard Deitch. But I don't. And there's other ones too. Jimmy Traina has one for Sports Illustrated, and there's the Marshawn and Oran. That's the Sports Business Journal in Europe.
Yes.
But it's more for the information or just
the
trade
business
talk.
in general.
It's the business
trade
in
talk.
general.
I do some of that too.
But in terms of personalities, I don't know.
I think Chris Long on the Greenlight Pod does a good job.
Howie
Long's son, Chris Long, does a good job.
He's a smart guy. He went to Virginia, right?
He's a smart guy, and he has good guests too, and he's interesting. He has a different look at sports. So I occasionally tune into that.
I've been into some music podcasts lately.
There you go.
Not necessarily the stuff you are into, not as sophisticated as yours. But just like after watching the Beatles stuff, I went back and just started looking up for interviews with Paul McCartney. And then I started listening to interviews with like Sean Lennon and Julian Lennon, and
just Ira.
I don't know, just kind of went down that rabbit hole the rabbit holes you go through the internet. Now you can do it with podcasts also.
Yeah. You ever listen to Broken Record?
Mm-mm.
It's like a Rick Rubin thing, and he has different artists on that you might like. It's good.
I don't think I listen to many sports podcasts.
I don't either. That's
Simmons,
the funny
if there's
part.
a good guest, I'll listen to it.
I typically don't listen to a lot of sports podcasts because
I guess
work
Wake Up
in the
Warchant
business.
probably is the best.
I'm not. Where is that?
Wake Up Warchant. It's in our network. It's
in
our network. Wake Up Warchant. Yeah.
You all this time?
Aslan's a good guy. His host, really funny. Good
Anybody
guy.
else on there with you?
No, just Aslan and Corey.
Okay.
Jeff Cameron show occasionally. I like the Jeff Cameron show like every Monday from
When
about
Ira's on.
2:30 to 2:33. And then I tune back out again.
Oh man, that's a good window.
Yeah,
What's going on
that's a
then?
sweet window.
That's a smart window.
Got a good
right
guest
there.
right there.
Ryan writes, hello, gentlemen. Corey, how many bottles or cans of soda do you drink? Well, they watch this.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Timely question.
He's noticed it here, but he also points it out in the basketball games, and he wants to know if you're doing it during the basketball games, is there anything in there that soda? He would understand.
Yeah, there will be if I have to go back this year. No, I would say that's the thing. I was drinking probably 4 or 5 Diet Coke, diet sodas a day.
That's why your stomach's
plus
messed
my
up.
Ultra.
It has nothing to do with your Ultra.
But
it's the soda. I promise
all
you.
the carbonation. So I'm starting fresh. I'm starting anew. Got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Going to find out what's up with my stomach, and we're going to go from there.
No, Doc, all I'm drinking now is margaritas.
Yeah, margaritas.
I've solved it all.
Today's your day.
Vodka and water.
National
right?
Margarita Day.
That?
I wasn't going to drink a thing today, but man, what are you supposed to do? It's National Margarita Day.
Yeah, they want you to.
Sean writes, it was great to see Corey, great to see Tom this
Mm-hmm.
weekend. I did not run into Sean, but I also didn't hang out by the tree over there with the animals before the game. Always a good time, so I'm trying to manage my expectations for this baseball team. Could be the best pitching staff we've had, or is it just a top 3 or top 10? Well, it's not the best we've ever had. I mean, you go back to the early 90s, there were some nasty rotations there. But I would say that
top to bottom,
it could be great.
It's a lot of depth.
There's a lot of could be.
Yeah.
They're good.
It's good to hear Sean being optimistic. He hasn't been
You know,
real
he's
optimistic
rarely
about
optimistic.
FSU baseball in a long time. So
Or
that's
FSU anything.
it's a week into the season. I'm feeling that's a good
I'm
sign.
excited too, man. There's no denying how electric this stuff is.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about, you got to execute all these other things, but the stuff is really, it plays. It misses bats.
Yeah.
They're going to strike out a ton of people.
I am looking forward to seeing the defense when they get an opportunity to field the ball because that was just ridiculous.
Last year, that was impossible. Last 2-3 years, they couldn't pick up the baseball. All I did was come in here and say, well, it'd be great if they could pick up the baseball, but they don't. And they also, for the last few years, couldn't run the bases.
Right. Right. That hasn't gotten off to a great start yet, but maybe
I know we missed third.
Well, and Brett Roberts got picked off legitimately 3 times, so that needs to stop because he's going to be on base a lot. So he needs to learn to run them.
Butch writes, hello, boys. Injuries have taken a huge toll on the basketball team and Coach Ham. Curious, does a season like this make you wonder how much longer Coach Ham will lead the way for Florida State? Just seeing him on the sidelines at the BC game last night makes me wonder how much longer he wants to do this. Keep up the great work. Well, that was respectful.
But I didn't get the impression he was resigned. Like there are a lot of college basketball coaches when their teams play like that sit down and they're done. They're not.
Said you would have been sitting down for a different reason.
You would have been in the locker room.
Yeah.
We
might have had a problem with Ira after that game in the handshake line.
It's a throat kick line.
Put a sign
of his own players.
Yeah, I know.
Put a sign in the locker room portal that way.
Yeah.
But I thought he was still coaching. So, I mean, next year's going to be a big year. I think they're probably going to make some changes in terms of personnel. I don't know who comes back and who stays. But the nice thing about college basketball in this portal era is you can overhaul your team
radical shit
really quickly. And so I think you're going to see them make some changes with the roster and then see how it goes. If next year is anything like this year, yeah, I mean, at some point you may wonder how many more times he wants to give it a run, but they want to win a national title. That's the goal. They want to get to a Final Four and try to win a national title.
Tom and I were talking about this yesterday. Just a casual conversation bled into our conversation about basketball. And he said something, and it made me sad because I didn't disagree with him. You know, we all, the three of us, have had the great pleasure of covering that program and watching it become what it was the last 5 years, handful of years. And we desperately wanted to see it for lots of reasons. A, it just makes our jobs easier. I am a Nole, so I really want to see the program play well. But we all love Leonard and respect Leonard. And really, he's had a great staff and guys come and go. And they've all – so the point is they've been eminently likable for lots of reasons. But they were also really good, right? And it transformed what was possible at home games to the point where we had the best home record in basketball there with us and Kansas and somebody else. But so the point was –
should have set an ACC record all time.
So what drives me nuts is that I also know that when you're a new blood and you don't have the cachet, the aforementioned Kansas, North Carolina, Duke, whomever, UCLA, when you don't have that, it does dissipate and go away quickly the second you show signs that it's not sustainable. Well, they went from being a possible national championship contender where they got screwed by COVID because that team, I think, goes to the Final Four. Don't know what
certainly has
there,
a shot.
Right?
Yeah.
They go from that to what we're watching right now. And I think the casual fan doesn't care all of the reasons why it looks like it does right now. We could talk about these injuries, but also when they don't have games in which effort is shown, you can easily wash your hands of attending those games. And I do worry that it wouldn't take but 2 years of this to see this all go away.
Yeah, and the students have been great.
The students have
come
been
out
great.
for all the games.
But
and
how
you
long
wonder
will
how long that will last. Yeah.
And it breaks my heart because they had to work so hard uphill without the funding.
Yeah, man, but this is a blip. Let's just say it's a blip.
Maybe.
Let's say it's a blip.
I think this question is a fair question in that I've wondered it too, because it's a lot of hard work. He is in his 70s. Does he go out and just transform this roster? He has to.
One last hurrah.
By the way,
last
because
hurrah.
that recruiting class isn't great.
No, it's not. That's why you got to get these guys, Cleveland, Fletcher, and Butler. Well, I mean, I don't know where they'd go, but if you keep them there, you got a nice little core with Worley, and you've got to sprinkle in some dudes around them, and you go 10 deep again. But this time, 10 deep with guys that can play. That would help. Like play.
Instead of the 10 that we roll out there now.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do think he's going to do that, right? He's got. He's got no choice. Okay.
And you look at, programs like Duke and Carolina have had awful years,
but they can afford to.
I agree. I'm saying, but it shows you how you can come back quickly.
Yeah.
In the sport, but it has to happen. Yeah. You can't have
Duke missed the tournament last year, right?
Yeah, you can't have 2 bad years in a row and
Your
expect
boy rolling
fans
out there,
to come
Roy
back
was
out.
steady providing a subpar product at the end.
I mean, all I count is those banners. All I know is those banners
rolling
in the
out
ceiling.
there, Roy, buddy. I miss rolling out there, Roy.
Banners on that ceiling.
Although it did seem to permeate the program even still. Carolina's been borderline.
They're bubble team.
Roll it out there. See, it doesn't take much. Stains the program. Dave writes, hello, boys. Seymour, Jeff. Oh, at least he was considered. He knew that we'd have to see more here. Really enjoy the show. I'm just struck by the stakes in the coming football season. Restating well-known facts, but we have a good quarterback, remembering his difficulty coming in here as a transfer, but he's injury-prone, and we don't have great backup options right now. All of this in a make-or-break year for Coach Norvell concerns me. In a new era of early signing where hiring a new coach would set the program back yet again, all the while major college football restructuring most likely to occur, so it's unfair to say to a large extent the future of the program hinges on Jordan Travis's health this upcoming season. He's worried. The potential range and outcomes seems enormous, or is this just Corey Clark hyperbole?
Yeah, fair.
No, I think this is an enormous season. I think his overall assessment of this being a very, very, very important season, hence the reason we had the headline and the video. Did Mike Norvell do the right thing by pushing his chips to the middle of the table with Jordan Travis, right? That's why we asked the question, because we all know it is a big deal and it is a very important
But it's
campaign.
not just that. Does it hinge on Jordan Travis? And my answer is, yeah, probably.
I think it does.
Yeah. I don't know.
Largely. Now, he's been given more tools. So
maybe
that's
Jaden
good.
Daniels is transferring here, but the kid from Arizona State, but that's probably not happening. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of Jordan Travis. And then you hope if and when he gets banged up, one of these other guys can play. But, yeah, if Jordan Travis has a good season, Florida State will have a good season. If Jordan Travis doesn't play much, it's going to be a rough season.
Yeah, barring
we don't know what AJ Duffy is. We don't.
He'd have to be phenomenal.
Miami had no idea what they had in their quarterback who was sitting the bench 14 until he got out. They had to play him, and then he became really good.
I don't know how that happened, by the way.
But
I mean,
it's
if you
hard.
watch him throw the ball, how did that happen?
Yeah. And he'd been there, right? He wasn't a freshman last year, right? Wasn't he?
Redshirt freshman, but
was
I think
he?
the
So he
COVID
okay.
year was
okay. Yeah, he had been there a little bit. Like
I
a
just
true
don't know how you
freshman.
watch that kid throw and think, he's
still doesn't have it.
It's not
Just
going to
doesn't
be
have
any good. I mean, I get it happens occasionally, but sweet Jesus. Anyhow, we agree with you, Dave. It's a huge year. It's an important year. And obviously, I don't want to see this program have to start over. None of us do. It's been a down-and-out program by Florida State standards, certainly, for way too long.
But I think I guess my point is I don't know that you could say it's if it fails or if this season doesn't go well that Mike Norvell screwed up by not going and getting another quarterback because we don't know what was available and how in the situation they're in. I think there's a lot of teams that if their starting quarterback goes down, they're probably not going to have a good season. Or Clemson last year, their starting quarterback just happened to stink.
It's just this program
desperately
needs a good, but it just needs a good season.
Right.
He needs a good season.
Well,
and
that's
this
what I was
fan
about
base
to
needs a
say.
good
So
season.
it would be awful luck if that didn't happen because of something.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be the end. He's not going to get fired unless they go like 4-8. But he'd be a dead man walking.
Could be.
I would think. My opinion would be that if they go something less than 8-4 without a rash of injuries or something, they just lose games they shouldn't. He's a dead man walking. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
This month has already been a long, cold year, but nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth and Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth and Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth and Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth and Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth and Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth and Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. If you know me, you know how I feel about supporting local. You also know that I love dad jokes. So it really bugs me when somebody I know calls anyone other than Paul's Termite and Pest Control. This year marks 50 years that Paul's has been servicing our community as a family-owned business. That really means something. All treatment decisions are made right here, not some corporate headquarters 100 miles away, but right here. Local knowledge means they know exactly when and how to beat certain issues that are unique to our region. All decisions about North Florida made by North Floridians, and being local doesn't always mean small. Paul's is the largest locally owned termite, pest, and lawn company in the region, but you'll always get the small town treatment and quick service also. Paul's offers a same-day treatment guarantee if you call by noon. If you see something in the morning that's not supposed to be in your house, call Paul's and they'll get them all that same afternoon. It's that easy. For the elimination of termites or any other pests, and for a greener lawn too, visit callpauls.com.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Back to headliner questions. Let's get to Joseph, who writes, gentlemen, since hard times have befallen our hoop squad, little fun question. If you guys are the Warchant Four Horsemen, who's Flair, who's Arn, Tully, which one of you Warchant brethren is the fourth horseman? P.S. Thanks for the heads up on the registers and we.
Who were the four horsemen? It was Ole and Arn Anderson.
Yeah, Ole and Arn Anderson, Ric Flair,
and it was Tully Blanchard.
Tully Blanchard,
the original group, and then Lex Luger came in.
I'm Lex Luger probably because of the
appearance,
the frame, the body. Jeff, you're probably Ric Flair. You've got that.
I go with Ole Anderson.
You've got a big personality.
I go with Ole.
I want to be Arn Anderson.
I like Ole.
Well, then I'll be Ric Flair. That's fine.
Get a wig.
Yeah. And
I just envision you with like Michael Hayes or Ric Flair, like a wig.
Yeah, in a spray
Pretty
tan,
awesome.
in a big spray tan on me.
In a goatee that's not blonde.
Rick writes, Jeff, great interview with Meat. You covered analytics in the discussion.
Can I tell you a quick Four Horsemen story? I don't know if I've told it. When I was a kid in high school, that's when they became big.
Yeah, of
and my
course.
buddies and I, Nestor and Jeff, went to one of the shows in Miami, and we loved the Four Horsemen, just loved them. And like the crowd around us was all booing them.
I rooted for that.
And we were
yes, as well.
cheering
Yeah.
for the Four Horsemen, and like literally, I thought we were going to get our butts kicked.
I had that happen at the Sundome in Tampa in
'Cause we
1984 as I was
loved the
cheering
Four
on.
Horsemen.
As I was cheering on the man, Roddy Piper.
Oh, another great one.
And they were furious because Hogan and him, obviously had the feud, but I'm all in on Piper, who's still the best.
Although when I was a little kid, I think I teared. I think I cried when he beat up Jimmy Snuka.
With the coconut. It's one of the greatest moments of all
One of
time.
the most racist moments in history.
It's incredible.
But
you could never get away with it now. And I don't mean, I mean, like to play the character to the hilt is unbelievable because the belt.
That
That's
is
where
probably
it
a
gets
good
weird.
thing. You can't get away with that now, but it was fun in its moment.
It's
We're not
acting.
saying
It's
we
acting.
should be able
We're
to
not
get
saying
away with it.
he is a racist.
Right,
I'm saying it was an acting moment.
Yeah.
But and by the way,
But I love Jimmy Snuka. Loved.
so
Jimmy
you're
Snuka.
really mad when he shuts the door just as Snuka gets
Oh,
up to,
awful.
you're furious. And then you find out Snuka was a murderer.
Well, yeah, it turns
that's
out
a
maybe.
toughie.
Yeah, he
That's
wasn't
a
lovable.
toughie. Turned out he wasn't a great guy at all.
A legend.
Should have hit him with another
a
coconut.
legend murderer.
I don't think it's a legend.
I don't. I mean, I think
go
he was-
back and watch that.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't think they can prove it.
I think
That's true.
they did. Nick writes, have any of you ever face palmed somebody the way Juwan Howard did the other day? Also, which coach would you most like to see Ham face palm?
You're Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett,
without
you.
a doubt.
But
It's
Seth
you.
Greenberg
Seth
would have been the
Greenberg
best.
would have been number one.
Seth,
Greenberg.
Seth Greenberg's my vote too, but
Yeah.
I think you'd still take Tony Bennett.
That would be.
Seth
I'd enjoy
Greenberg
it.
would have been my favorite. I mean, because he's impossible.
Yeah,
He's got a
he's
slappable face.
Yeah,
Oh,
he does.
and he says
Slappable,
stupid
just
things,
mannerisms.
Persona.
about
Yeah.
him. I've never face palmed anybody. No, I mean, if I've made the decision to hit you, I'm gonna hit you. Go ahead. You look. I thought you had an
No,
answer.
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You're gonna read through the court case.
I got to read through it. Yeah,
Okay.
I got to read through the court case, see if I want to call him a murderer or not. By the way, just real quick, how dumb did you have to be in the 70s to get caught for murder?
Oh, really difficult, right?
I mean, it's
and
crazy.
the problem is most murders happen amongst people who know each
Yeah,
other.
that's how they.
and that's how they catch you.
But if you're just a random BTK serial killer,
oh yeah,
That's
like he got caught because he was such an
reopened
idiot.
25 years later.
He gave him a floppy disk that showed his name on it
Well, he's a
and where he
dumbass,
worked.
But
Yeah.
but don't they? Are there? I was Kim and I were talking about this. Like, do you think there are less serial killers now because they get caught quicker because there's cameras everywhere?
No,
No.
I don't think there are
You
less.
think there's still more? There's still plenty.
Okay, so I'll just say this, and I think any cop out there listening and detective listening to this, if you kill randomly as you're traversing through the country,
Except now there's cameras
there's
everywhere.
cameras now, man.
No, I'm not saying
There's ring cameras.
No,
There's cameras on
Hold on a second.
grocery
I'm
stores.
just saying it
This
ain't,
isn't a
it ain't
debate
as easy to
It's
be a
not.
serial
It's
killer
a lot
as it
harder.
once was.
The job's gotten more difficult.
Yeah, it has.
But I'm not. Yeah, that's the.
That's
only
what I'm
difference.
saying. So BTK was so dumb.
They had to
20
go out of
no,
their way.
That was ego.
Right.
But my point is, he was so dumb that's how he got. He didn't want to get caught. He got caught
When he
because
sits there
he
from the
gave
church,
him he gave him a floppy disk that was connected to that church and it had his name on it. But he got away with it for 20 years. Imagine, like he might have an IQ of 90, and he got away with it because you couldn't solve them
It's
back
hard.
then.
Just solving a random crime is very
Yeah.
difficult.
It's still really difficult if it's completely random.
I just got to think it's got to be easier now.
You
with
just
the
you think
cameras.
back like, oh, the guy must have been a mastermind. Like obviously he was
Oh.
evil,
No,
but he
no.
was a genius. Like no, these guys were just
widely different
idiots.
types of serial killers. Though. There are genius serial killers.
Sure,
that
but then there are
Oh,
BTKs.
the Danny Rawlings Gainesville's a moron. He just
Yeah.
he was, but he was killing random people and like living
Except
in
he
the
killed
woods.
his dad at some point in Louisiana.
No, he didn't. I think he shot his dad. I
You're
don't know if
thinking
he
of
died.
Superfly Snuka.
No,
He killed Danny Rawlings' dad.
No. Danny
He
Rawlings
shot his dad,
and his dad was a
or
cop.
beat up his
Yeah.
dad.
That's what it was. His dad was a cop, so he understood investigative
Anyway, back to the
techniques.
questions. I find it like it's really hard to get away with being a serial murderer now. But back in the 70s, you had to be
Oh,
an
the
absolute
good old
moron.
days.
Jeff says it's not that
Like
hard.
Son of
anymore.
Sam
I'm
got
not
caught
saying
'cause
that.
because he
Don't
parked
say that.
illegally.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there aren't fewer serial killers. I'm
Right.
saying it is
I just
a
wonder
harder
how.
job.
But I bet a lot of them are getting caught
Quicker
or
before
quicker.
they
You know
get
what I'm saying?
before they
Before
get
they,
on the
yeah, exactly. Before it gets to 20.
Nobody
Unless-
even has nicknames anymore.
unless they're in Alaska.
Oh, then
That's
it's
part of the
Yeah,
deal.
that's-
That's you.
but that's
They
it right
know
there.
they know you're bringing 4 or 5
That's it.
bodies when you go to
You
Alaska.
decide to move to Alaska, they welcome you in and be like, okay.
All right,
Yeah,
we're watching
and they
you,
got the
but
John Desai.
yep.
They sit at the bar and watch you very closely. Just move here, eh? Tom writes, why must the ACC network play a Gatorade commercial on loop?
That commercial was crazy last. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me read the rest of it. Yeah. So this is crazy. Why must the ACC network play a Gatorade commercial on a loop with a kid getting accepted to the University of Florida?
It was crazy.
It's almost like this worthless ass conference trolls us every chance they get. And I used to fight back against this because our fans are the most touchy-feely fans in the world. You're not wrong, Tom.
That commercial was
crazy.
and they showed it every break.
It's nuts.
I'm like, I kept chatting. I'm like, this is ACC network, right? Like nobody checked with, hey, Gatorade, could you give us an ad that doesn't have them signing a scholarship to Florida? Like it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
It's very frustrating. Tony writes, who is the strength and conditioning coach for the basketball team? Ngam, Butler, and some others have to hit the sand pits hard in the offseason, while Cleveland and Fletcher have to get up 1,000 shots a day. Yeah, there's a little anger there, too.
Especially Cleveland. I mean, his shot, he was making them at the start of the season. He was making those mid-range jumpers.
For the record, they have a good strength program. Mike Bradley does a really good job, but I mean, you're talking about freshmen. It's hard to, you're not going to get guys coming in looking like 22-year-olds.
It is quite clear that Butler has some work to do on the frame.
Man, I can't read this next question. It's going to make us all emotional, and it's long, so I'll have to read it during the break.
Telling us how great we are?
Well, he's had some medical issues, and he's listened to us, and it's very kind. And anyhow, so that's a toughie. Gentlemen, with the very sad news of Pooh Bear Williams passing away, what is your favorite memory of him as a player? Oh, well, the echo of a stadium in unison chanting his name is the answer for me, Robert. I thought that was incredible, and I was part of that group screaming his name every time we got inside the 20. If you know how he received the nickname Pooh Bear, love the show. Well, he was a giant guy. He was a big dude with a big old belly and everything else.
We do love a little portly
athlete. Everybody does that.
A portly athlete.
And he had a long touchdown run as a freshman. I think it was that game up at Duke.
Yeah, he averaged like 7 yards a carry
in the rain. 11 carries, 56 yards that game.
And Deckerhoff like Pooh Bear, and it was already 48-6. Like it wasn't like it was a game winner. Funny story about the name Pooh Bear though. When I was on a dating app, Match.com, where I happened to meet free pub for them. I happened to meet Stephanie, and here we are almost 5 years later, loving life.
4 kids.
But one of the people that was suggested for me was a
Pooh Bear
was a woman named Pooh Bear. And so anyway,
that's a toughie.
So it's fine.
You're like, why?
But
what in my profile screams that I want to date a woman named Pooh Bear?
So anyway, I show my buddies the picture, and I'm more about the name. It's just a funny name to have on a dating app.
62230.
And then I tell them, I don't know, 2 weeks later, hey, I met somebody on Match, and it's going out well. She goes, oh, is it Pooh Bear? And so literally that is Stephanie's nickname
Pooh
up
Bear.
in Georgia. All my friends call her Pooh Bear or Pooh. Even the kids call her Pooh.
What was your nickname on the app?
Hardcore.
I was going to say something else.
Did Pooh Bear swipe right on hardcore?
I don't think hardcore swipe right on Pooh Bear, so I don't know. I don't think we would have met. I don't know how Match works. I think we just emailed each other. I can't remember how Match works. It was that long ago.
I've been married for 16 years, and
you missed the game. You missed the race.
I missed the whole thing, and you have too. And so I do have to turn to ask you about these things. Like, so swiping right is to
that's the good one. That means you like. Yeah, okay. But I never.
But apparently they're swiping right like to 1,000 people.
Oh,
like it's not, and then but they have to.
I didn't. I was more discerning.
I was
more discerning.
Yeah. You want to narrow it down?
Stephanie was the only one I swiped right on.
Maybe you sure. Didn't swipe right on Pooh Bear though.
No.
But think about those embraces.
I know.
But I do wonder. So if you swipe right, what happens? You get a notification that the person swiped.
If they swipe right and you swipe right, this is Tinder, which I was not on, but I know how it works. Bumble was kind of this. I was on Bumble. But it says you have a match, and so then you can start you can text, you can start the dialogue if you both match with each other.
But my question is, so here's my fear for the young people of today.
Yeah, your kid's about to be in it.
Well,
in
no,
2 years, 3 years.
I hope not. But
I mean, come on, what do you mean?
I don't want him to be on a date app at 18 years old.
We're not judging here, Jeff. We're not judging here, Jeff.
So my question is though, does the person find out if you don't like him?
No. If somebody swipes left,
you're going to have a lot of people with a lot of hangups. If you're, You put
And
yourself out
They don't
there.
show your shooting percentage.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
you got
10% of the people that have seen my picture are swiping right.
No, they don't have the
This is
analytics.
devastating.
They don't have the analytics that they send to you. Like, look, you only get a 7% swipe rate. You
In
got to
fact,
do
we're
something.
kicking you off the app.
Maybe you need a better
Everybody is
picture.
horrified by your presence.
I'd be like, wait a minute, I didn't even want the hot people to even have a choice. I'm not trying to get with them. Just can I get a better percentage with the people I think I have a shot with?
Also, are you allowed to type in certain parameters beyond just your bio? Can you be like, no, listen, here's my thing.
I mean, I think once you, once
I
you
think that would
match,
matter, right?
I think
that would matter.
You
I mean,
start giving the particulars, but I
Yeah.
think your bio, you want to have a few nice pictures of you. A key is to have a picture with you with friends. They're not all pictures of you by yourself, and you look like a loner weirdo.
Right, yeah, that would be
You've
weird.
got so I made sure that I had a couple pictures at like a party.
Maybe
probably
the,
want a
the
shirtless-
headlines picture.
The headlines picture would have been a great
shirtless photo.
They were all shirtless,
of course.
Yeah, I go to a
Including
lot
the
of shirtless
headlines
parties.
photo, the first one we ever did. He insisted. Yeah.
But so yeah, you want that, and you want to have a bio that you say what you do, and you might maybe say something clever, and no games. I also put no games.
No games.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not about the games.
I'm not here. You're not toying with me.
No, I'm here for love and nothing else. No games. Don't ghost me either.
Ira, Corey, and Shopback. Could we see if there's any leftover padding at Hauser to cover up the faded purple Morse or Jumbotron inside Doak?
Oh,
extra padding for that ass. Thank you, Scott.
Hey,
the padding looked good.
I did like the
padding
padding.
looked
It
good.
popped.
There you go.
Now listen,
I like that you're standing up
I'm going
and
to tell you
manning up
something.
on
I
that.
walked into the stadium on Friday and I was stunned by the padding.
Yeah,
it is just padding.
Yeah, but Lulu tweeted that picture and I was like, man, it does look good.
It popped.
I mean, it is just padding, but
it looks good.
It does look good.
A whole lot better
I'm
than it
glad
did.
they didn't put up ugly ass padding. That
It
really
changed
did
like
something.
the whole way you view this field.
Not
Like
really.
it did to me. I'm like, man, this looks
Yeah,
like
but
a
I
real
noticed the
field
inner
again.
workings of the field. Is
Well,
still,
were the puddles there?
downstairs and the bowels.
Were the puddles there?
and the bowels. Yeah, the puddles were there.
It's
Omnipresent.
gross puddles. Yeah, they're not going
Gross.
anywhere, Ira. That's like asking if the fountain
The
was
entire families
Like
have been
called-
born out of those puddles.
That's why he called you Shopback.
Yeah.
He thought maybe you took care of it.
No, I didn't. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
More local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department responded to an incident on Columbia Court Monday night. When law enforcement officials arrived at the 2300 block of Columbia Court, a man had barricaded himself inside an apartment. The man who barricaded himself was eventually detained. A male victim was found dead outside an apartment. The Tallahassee Police Department requests anyone that witnessed the incident to contact them at 850-891-4200. With the highest gas prices since 2014, Florida set a new record high for the year at the pump. Monday's national average gas price is $3.53 a gallon. Florida's average $3.50. An explosion that happened on Monday at the Marathon Garyville refinery in Louisiana, and with tensions growing between Russia and the Ukraine, we're looking at higher oil prices and as a result, higher gas prices. Unfortunately, it's hard to predict how high they will go. Right now in Florida, it costs just over $52 to fill up a 15-gallon tank. That's $13 more than this time last year. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Clear skies this afternoon with highs around 78. Winds out of the south, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight, lows around 57. Highs level off around 82 tomorrow. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Thursday with daytime highs approaching 84. 82 Friday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 78.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald. Hey, sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dogs. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Man, we went through the question that I alluded to before the break. Well, I don't know if I skipped the question because it was long and touching, but we're going to answer it now. Rodney, should I read all this, guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Rodney writes, gentlemen, I wanted to reach out and thank each of you for the entertainment you offer. Last year, I was diagnosed with clippers, chronic lymphocytic inflammation with pontine perivascular enhancement responsive to steroids. So clippers, that's what that is. I really wanted to hear Jeff read that out loud. Well, there you go. There are less than 100 cases in the world. My treatment wasn't steroids, but chemotherapy. I would save Seminole Headlines and listen to it while they pump the poison into me. Nothing like hearing Corey's calming voice as you watch the drip of poison fill your veins.
You're welcome, my man.
Are you clearing your throat a little bit?
Yeah, that always gets it going.
Part of my diagnosis was 7 2-hour MRIs. Holy moly.
I just had an MRI at the ER for my stomach.
14 hours?
No, it was 30 seconds and it was awful.
Oh, my God, Rodney. If you have ever had an MRI, keep in mind that you must lay perfectly still during the procedure.
Yeah.
The good part
and
was...
it feels like you wet yourself.
I didn't have that.
Yeah, that's one of the sensations. It feels like you're wetting yourself. I might have wetted
I just
myself.
the claustrophobia.
I was going to say, you're used to that. The good part was I got to pick one artist to listen to while the MRI took place. I chose Tom Petty. My question has two parts. First, who would you choose to listen to as the person? Who's the person you'd listen to while watching the poison drip into your veins? And which artist would you choose to listen to while having an MRI? Thanks for getting me through the chemo. Well, Rodney, we wish you nothing but the best. And thank you so much for listening to the show. And I hope you are doing well. I hope the treatment has worked. And my goodness gracious, it's a kind email.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't begin to answer this on the spot.
Jeff, you don't count. I'm going to say Pink
I don't
Floyd.
count because he's going to say.
I'm going to say Pink Floyd and be done with it. Well, you're just going to have like 9 answers.
I'm
you're
not going to have 9 answers, but I think about the mindset.
I know.
Do you want to be in a mindset?
I guess that's the question. What mindset do you want?
Yeah, I was trying to decipher what I want to be in an intense, almost like you're going out and
I feel like
battle.
calm, but the MRI
That's why
part,
I was thinking Pink Floyd was a little
the
calmer.
chemo part, I don't know.
Yeah, chemo, maybe you're listening to Guar or something. Like get you fired up. But
Whenever
MRI, you got to
possible.
stand perfectly still. So I'd say something like Pink Floyd that's kind of mellowish.
So you would take a concept album. I see your head.
Elton John kind of soothed me a little bit. I like some Elton John, Corey.
Okay. All right.
I like the idea of a concept record.
Yeah.
And Pink Floyd's most
You're
famous
into
for
it.
concept
It's like
albums.
a movie in your head.
It is a movie in your head. Roger Waters wrote 2 really good solo records as well that are just start to finish the story. The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking by Roger Waters. Boom.
That was what I was going to say.
I know. You were right on that. You couldn't take his answer, so you
start
went with
to
Elton
finish
John.
there because it's a great story and it's a wonderful album. Pete Townsend's on that record.
See, this is what I was talking about.
While we're on the topic of cancer, and I don't know if he listens or if his family or anybody listens, but Jared Lynn, the FSU student manager, who was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma last week, is home, and he's just started chemo the other day.
Looks like he went to another like he got tickets to another Cincinnati game. That's cool.
Yeah, so he apparently the basketball community has been really good to him and supportive of him, and but yeah, we just want to say we're thinking of him because he's there's decent chances, good chances he's going to come out of it okay. They have a lot of things that they can do for my dad actually had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's not what killed him though, Jeff. He lived 40 years after that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Well, I was going to say, why'd we bring that up? I was just about to say, because I know your dad's dead. I was just like, why would we bring that up?
I didn't want you to think that's what killed him.
You're like, well, my dad had that, Jaden. Good luck to you. I mean, I was like, what are we doing?
But no, anyway, so our thoughts with him as well. But thanks, Rodney.
James writes, fellas, does the current Miami staff, and I meant to get to this before in the chat, worry you at all? Do you think they will go through a transitional year before getting it together?
So who's their OC? The guy from Pitt, right? Didn't they get the Pitt OC?
No, they get the Michigan OC.
That's what I meant.
And
Pitt.
no, I'm not impressed by that at all.
Yeah, all right. Well, there you go. There you go. You're not worried at all. Thank you, James B. Though, for the tip. That was mighty kind of you.
Thanks, James B. Yeah, look, I mean, they're definitely throwing money at it. And Mario, I think, is a good coach. I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. Although we like the quarterback, obviously, Van Dyke's really good. But I don't know that. I didn't look at that team and say, okay, 1 year later they're going to be much better. I do think they're going to be, they've got a good staff. They've committed to that. So that should help them, but I don't know how quickly it's going to turn around.
I guess the question is, are
they
they
just
better
got Charlie Strong, it's a linebackers coach.
Are they better than Florida State currently? Yes, they were better than Florida State last year, and they lost to Florida State. Right. I don't know. Kevin Steele, did he do anything for you? No, not at all. Right? That guy will be trying to take the job of the head coach immediately.
And that's the issue they're going to have there. Because that's the trick to so much of this is, does your staff get along? Is the chemistry good? Do you have people maneuvering behind the scenes?
Are moving in the right direction, all in the same direction?
I think we know what Kevin Steele is.
He might want Mario's job.
Rodney got back to us while we're doing the show in the
nice.
chat, and he says he's doing well. Thank you.
There you go.
Great,
Good job, Rodney.
Rodney, that's good to hear, man. Really good to hear. And I've answered James B's question. I apologize for being late on that, but he asked that like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But there it is. There it is. No, I'm not. I was so many people, just because they recognize the names, were impressed with the hiring of.
They're going to hire somebody.
Well, right, but neither of those choices made me go, "Oh man, they're really getting it right." I was like, "What? Really? Okay."
Well, Michigan had a good year.
Yeah, and they have the most bland, non-dynamic offense you will ever see. They want to run the
he
ball.
Was the co-OC. We don't even know if he was the brains.
We don't even know he got the right co, right?
Operation. Yeah, like Florida State didn't.
We got the wrong
with
co.
The Michigan State defensive
I remember yelling that halfway through the season. We got the wrong co. Damn it, man. All right, we'll come back and wrap it up. It's a little disjointed right now, but we still have another segment to go.
Have we gotten Twitter?
I've been plowing through Twitter.
All right.
Why do I get second guessed on this, guys?
I never asked you if you've gotten to Twitter.
My God.
I just,
you have an affinity for Twitter and a thing.
Last week, I feel like they got shorted a little bit.
You think they got shorted?
We need to be on IG or Snapchat.
That's what
have we gotten to our Snapchat questions
We
yet?
haven't.
Okay.
No. I'm going to go back over here and look at every one of these because I see your prompt, Ira, and then I start from there. I want you to know there's your prompt.
Settle down.
And then I'm going to scroll.
Hey,
get your hands off. I'm going to palm you. I'm going to palm you.
Palm slap you. A little too defensive over there, this guy.
At the first weekend of baseball, where do you find a glaring weakness is another question. That's from Twitter.
I don't think there was a glaring weakness.
I don't really think so either. Not that was exposed anyhow.
I mean,
there's probably one. Most teams aren't complete.
I think you're going to really wonder if
you didn't love the catcher.
The catcher can hit enough to stay in the lineup, and he's supposed to be a wall defensively. He's supposed to be really good defensively. That was not on display the first weekend. That could just been a bad weekend though. But he's supposedly got a great arm. He's going to be really tough to run on. And if you get these other two guys back, you can have one bad hitter in your lineup if he's a great defensive catcher. You can deal with that.
I know, Burke, and this question makes me laugh because there are so many dudes out here who will be like, we know it's inappropriate, but at the same time, every guy thinks it. So I am going to read his question. It's not terrible.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good warning.
He writes, okay, FSU softball is filled with great players, strong defense, and dynamic young players who play with fun and passion. Is it just me? But are they also the easiest on the eyes out there as well? I recall us playing Washington and thinking Huskies was way too apt a moniker.
So what's funny about that is that I was talking with somebody at the baseball game, Spencer, maybe a really good Florida State fan. He was talking about his wife was just amazed at the way his wife now, not Spencer, legit. I want to make that
everybody
clear.
You talk to, their wife or
I know
or
it's always talking about how attractive other women are. She did say, man, Florida State's lineup they're all tall, athletic, and pretty. Like
my wife said that too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a thing.
So it's not just
we're not saying it.
Some people would say it's irrelevant in a field of competition.
Well,
but
sure,
but we do have eyes.
Do you guys ever talk about how handsome a certain team is?
I have.
Have you?
Not about a collective team.
Wow, that Duke men's basketball team.
Not about a collective team, but about a guy. Like if the guy's like a three-time All-American and he's gorgeous, you're like, really? Okay, this ass.
Yeah.
You know, like
Cam Newton's hot.
I've never said that.
No.
No.
All right. Tebow.
No.
Yeah. I guess I haven't. But I didn't make this claim. I don't see that kind of stuff, Ira. I just pay attention to what's going on.
He's blind.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see that kind of stuff. But women do, apparently. But yes, apparently that's a Florida State thing.
These damn women, so superficial.
I know, right?
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Were you sold a lifetime of dream vacations only to get stuck in a timeshare with a lifetime of rising fees, point scams, and lies?
I was completely taken advantage of.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group, has been fighting and winning battles with timeshare companies for over a decade, canceling over 16,000 timeshares, resulting in $257 million of timeshare debt eliminated.
I believe that it's my job and my duty to help people out of their timeshare if they've been allowed to and they've been done wrong.
If it wasn't for Wesley, I would be broke.
Wesley Financial Group has thousands of verified reviews, averaging 4.9 and 5 stars for a reason. They get results.
I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
For your free consultation and information kit, call now. 800-969-5511. 800-969-5511. That's 800-969-5511.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
I don't know when the camera kicks on, but if they did just now, that's funny.
It did not, hopefully. Gosh, bless. Let's hope it did not.
Nate writes, in honor of the dominating performances we've seen on the Diamond so far.
By the way, because we were talking about Stephanie, because the way we left the way we went into break was a college softball team, and now people are going to think
No.
It was. I promise you, everyone, it was about Stephanie.
Well, and even then, I mean, you don't have to tell anybody.
Oh well, I know. I just wanted to connect the dots, everyone.
In honor of the dominating performances we've seen on the Diamond so far, what is the proper way to eat sunflower seeds? A few at a time? Grab a whole handful and get after it? To the whole Warchant crew, keep up the great work. Thanks, Nate.
I do the full handful.
I do too.
I've never eaten them. I've never liked them.
Let
Never
that
what
salt
I do?
soak in.
Yeah. Let's get dehydrated out here. But I'll tell you something. The fun part
You've
about
never eaten
that
sunflower seeds?
No, I was
your
more of a
life?
dip guy. When I was in high school, I was a dip guy. A big league chew.
I was going to say, you never dipped.
No, but I couldn't get into sunflower seeds. I don't like them. They're not tasty,
They're so
really.
good.
Oh, I think they're tasty.
But
A lot of
don't you have to,
salt.
like, I don't even understand how you eat them.
You break them with the teeth and then you push
you
out.
let them,
That's part of the process.
Yeah, you let them soak in your mouth. You get all the salt,
and then
all
you
that
spit
salt.
out the other stuff.
And then you just spit out the sheet.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you do it while you're having
What
a
a
conversation.
racket. What a racket to convince millions of mostly baseball playing dudes this is a snack.
I wish that I
It's
had
bird
done that
feed.
all those years when I was
Instead of
dipping.
dipping.
Well, it's not like it's one or the other. You could have eaten
For me,
an
it
apple.
was one or the other, and I looked at those who did the sunflower seeds as soft.
Why not Pop-Tarts? Like it
Because
didn't
they were-
have to be chew or
Hey,
sunflower
everybody, hold on.
seeds.
I know it's my AB, but I got to get this Pop-Tart
Get
shoved into
some
my cheek.
zingers.
Yeah.
Get some, Dodos, Dosey-Dos,
Give me
whatever
one
they
second.
are.
You know these rappers?
And I got to microwave them. I got to toast it.
Hey, that's a good question. Cold or hot Pop-Tarts?
I haven't had one in a minute.
Oh,
Here's what's
hot.
interesting
It was
about
always
it.
hot when I
Here's
did it.
what's interesting is
He has an opinion on this.
Yes, there are certain ones that I actually like, and my kids love Pop-Tarts. Certain
Who
ones
doesn't?
that I like better cold, but they become a different meal.
It is very different.
if they're warm. Like a cinnamon, brown sugar cinnamon ones.
You gotta-
they're totally
You
different.
got to have them warm, though.
I like them when they get
The
too
brown
toasted.
sugar ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Warm.
I can't do them either way.
I can do either one. They're very
Right.
good. It's just pure sugar. But I'm telling you, if you get the strawberry, also frosting, no frosting.
Here's the worst. Oh, man,
here we go.
I'm frosting, but I will do non-frosting. But as a kid, my dad was so cheap. We love you, God, or we love you, Dad. But
And God, both.
and God too. But he would get.
We
the
don't
cheap
love him
ones,
for taking your dad.
The generic Pop-Tarts.
Oh, I didn't even know they had
Which,
those.
I don't know, man. Maybe it saved him 30 cents a
Generic
box.
Pop-Tarts? I didn't even know it was a
like
thing.
the Publix brand or Winn-Dixie brand or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
So bad.
You ever
So
get the
bad.
Food Line Pop-Tarts?
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
I mean, that's the thing.
Well, I mean, what are you even doing? Why did you ask that question?
I'm just saying. There was a Food Line back in the day, and I remember seeing the
The
Pop-Tarts there. Now that you brought it up, I'm like, what? I was offended. So anyhow, the answer with the sunflower seeds, huge handful.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Moving it along. National championship on the line. Who's taking the corner three for the win? Brady Clark or Wyatt Mississippi Mudflap Wilkes?
Wilkes. But Brady hit a dagger three. That was a clutch three.
Held it, posed
He's a Bane, held it, posted. Yeah, he didn't call home like Wilkes does when he makes one of his. But yeah,
That's coming. Would he
Yeah.
have stepped over into the guy driving to the basket, or would he have just?
oh, he definitely would have let him drive to the basket.
Oh.
Brady, yeah, he's got a lot of that.
He's
in him.
got some wild.
What baseball series are you most excited to see this season? That's from Moth.
Miami, I guess. Is that up here? Is Miami up here?
Feel like it is, but I'm not.
I always like those.
TCU.
I thought they were playing BC in basketball.
I think TCU. I want to see the TCU.
But that's not here, right? I thought that was a
No, it's
neutral
here,
site.
isn't
Is it?
It's here.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that would be cool too. Yeah, TCU would
Is
be
it
good.
here?
Something different. I
Damn
don't know.
it,
We
look
should
it
know
up.
that.
I'll look it up. You keep talking.
All right. Another. So when is our ACC commissioner going to look at the ref failures? Oh, never. Apparently.
I don't know if he's talking about basketball because remember, basketball. It's not. They aren't ACC officials. They're regional officials.
But
that
they
are,
do hire them.
They're hired by the ACC. But you'll see. What's his name? Teddy Valentine.
they
He'll
work
play
other
SEC.
games.
He'll do SEC games.
I saw Carl Hess doing a game the other day because he got banned by the ACC.
Yeah.
But he was doing some Big 12 game or something.
What's going on?
Still
right
being
now?
awful. We're looking up the schedule.
I'll find
Both
out.
of you?
Well, I'm looking up the schedule. I
Well,
don't know
you
what
look
he's
it
doing.
up right there. I got.
TCU is in Tallahassee.
Yeah, it's
too.
here, man.
That's what I said.
In April,
No,
late
why
April.
why
What
did
I
you have
said.
that erroneous information?
Yeah, that's
We
exactly
play
what I
Cal
said.
here too, don't we?
Yeah, it's a big. It's a cool non-conference schedule.
The dad guy writes.
Miami's here too.
Man,
All right,
So
let's get
it's
it
hard to say.
on.
I'd still probably say Miami, but yeah, TCU
Got
is
Louisville
cool too.
here.
I want the TCU series to make up for the hanging curveball that was hit to the
Yeah.
moon in the
Yeah.
College World Series.
Notre Dame here, bringing Link Jarrett to town.
Get
All right.
about
It's a
it.
great home schedule.
Would you rather Mickey Andrews Field at Bobby Bowden Stadium on the corner of Charlie Ward Drive and Shade Tree Road,
Okay.
or just leave it as is, changing Stadium Drive to Mickey Andrews Way?
I would change Mickey Andrews' way. I would go just that's a simple fix. It's an easy fix. I was talking about that somewhere else. I was talking about that. Not even like on
No,
show.
I like the first one. This is
You want
outstanding.
no because
I
why
want
Shade
Mickey-
Tree and not
I
Paul
want-
McGowan?
Because Shade Tree is the
Or,
greatest FSU
LaMarcus Joyner.
linebacker of all time.
Yeah, I know. Or Derek Brooks. There's too many to choose from when you start doing the players. But Mickey deserves something above and beyond anybody
That's
else.
a fair point. I wanted to dismiss it, but you're right.
Yeah. So I would say Mickey Andrews' way instead of Stadium way. It's
Mickey,
easy to do.
Mickey spit the seeds.
He did.
I
yeah.
saw
Michelle.
Mickey out to dinner the other night as I was taking my family in to eat, and he was getting ready to leave.
Okay.
It's good to see Mickey.
We saw him a couple weeks ago with his grandkids.
Yeah. I saw him with his grandkids as well. Yeah. Didn't bother the man, but people did.
I'm gonna bring it up to Alford the next time I talk to him because he can make
You
that
think he
happen,
knows
right?
who Mickey Andrews is?
Probably, right? Yeah. And if not, we'll educate him. But he needs to be educated. Somebody in administration.
It's time for you to brush off that column again.
I know. I'll just run it again. I was 10 years old. I'll run it again.
And then get the stats on FSU holding again.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was about 7 or 8 years ago. We got to go. We got to do that too.
I bet it's a lot fewer these days, given the fact that I don't think they worry about our domination anymore.
Right. True. They don't feel bad for the other teams as
they're
much
like, well,
as they
this
used
poor
to.
Duke team, I've got to call that.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Now they're like, well, I don't know if FSU's going to win this game against Wake today. They can
Let
call
that
it right
slide.
down the middle, everybody.
But yeah,
It'd
Mickey
be
Andrews
tough.
needs something. Just honor the dude. They say he's in the Hall of Fame. Where's that? Who goes and sees it? Where's this bust? I don't even know.
College Football Hall of Fame is in Atlanta.
No, I mean the FSU Hall of Fame. But there's nowhere
They've got
to
some
go.
plaques up on the hall.
Yeah, that nobody goes into because nobody's allowed in there. It's just bizarre. Honor the guy.
Soon, boys, as we sit down to do Seminole headlines, we're going to be able to talk Florida State football. And I'm excited about
next
that.
one, right? Or two from now.
Not the next one, but the one after.
Yeah.
And the
we'll
reason
have
I bring
a couple
it up
practices to talk about.
is that we're at the end of the show, and I want to point people to the website, warchant.com.
Yeah, because we have plenty of pre-spring coverage there.
We do.
We'll actually have the defensive ends preview coming up tomorrow. Who's going to replace Jermaine Johnson? Jared Verse, that whole situation?
Well, nobody will live up to what Jermaine Johnson did.
No,
But if
but-
Jared Verse can just be half the player, maybe.
We know that going in, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
expecting it. So, yeah, just be pretty good.
We'll
all
continue
around.
to do our previews. Looking forward to it. And then another reminder, one final thing here is this Sunday, the Sunday Smash returns. We took a little respite.
Yep.
We're back at it. I'll be on Sunday. I know that. I got
I think it's going to be one of us
I got the call.
joining him.
And then I got to do. Why did I phrase it like that? I want to do and
Today,
am doing
5:45.
5:45 a live
Wake Up
Warchant 5:45 on YouTube. So we'll be there with Aslan taking questions.
Boom.
Just living life,
Content
loving life, talking about my
galore.
dating life again.
All right. For Corey and Ira, great job, Matthew. Thanks to all of you as well. As always, be good. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.